folks, you've probably just heard all of that anyway, but we'll crack on now. This is episode, I think, 45 of Brew Time. Thank you very much for coming back if you're a regular listener. And this week, we have Bob from the Machine Shop. How you doing, Bob?
Yeah, I'm good. Feeling better now.
All good? Yeah,
good.
we had a quick chat there at the start. I'll probably include that, I think, right from the very start. But we were supposed to do this on Friday, but Bob had a bit of an allergic reaction to a friend's dog. So we're now Sunday night, and we're doing it Sunday night. And all is good now.
Yeah. I'm feeling way better. I'm prepared. I've got my supplies here. And loads of bottles of Corona.
You've got Corona, have you? Another one on Corona.
Yeah.
I've got a bottle of Puffin Ale I've gone with.
So that's a bit fancy for me. One of the rules in the Machine Shop is that you're not allowed to use a bottle opener.
It's teeth,
if you use a
just
bottle opener, you're a bit of a wimp. No, screwdrivers, tables, spanners, anything.
Oh, so you're not a total heathen, no teeth. Slange.
No.
Oh, that's quite nice, actually. That's nice. Puffin Ale from Orkney. Lovely. Right, Bob, we've been meaning to do this for ages, man, haven't we? It was probably round about this time last year, I think, when we first started chatting.
That, yeah.
For anyone that's not aware of what the Machine Shop is and what you do, I'll pass it over to you. What's your name? Where'd you come from? What do you do?
My name is Bob. I'm from Ireland, and I run the Machine Shop. The Machine Shop is a self-service engineering workshop. It's for anybody that wants to do restoration or making or welding, fabrication, motorbike mechanics or modifications, but they don't have the access to the equipment or the tools. We supply that at an incredibly cheap price. So I just turn the metal down. And so that's pretty much what the Machine Shop is. And it's not just motorbikes that we do. It's anybody. It's whatever they want to do. If they want to do a car, build a shelf, do some furniture, it's anything you like. But we're usually just full of motorbikes all the time. Like Jason here is his pit bike. That's what Machine Shop is.
So essentially, it's just for anyone that either hasn't got the tools or hasn't got the experience and or hasn't got the space, then they can come to you, and it's they can either pay their money and use your equipment and just get on with it themselves, or if they want, you can give them like guidance in all manner of different types of metal work. Is it carpentry as well, joinery, or is it purely all metal based?
It's mostly metal fabrication. There's other types of businesses that kind of do woodworks type stuff that I come across when I was doing the business planning for this and market research. But it's mostly metal work. The reason we chose metal work is because I've been doing it since I was a kid. I've always been kind of fascinated with metal and making my dad's welder and teaching myself how to weld and making a mess and setting things on fire. So I've always been interested in metal, and So
is that your background then? Before you opened up the Machine Shop, is that your sort of employment background? Do you come from like a welding background or mechanic?
I'm qualified pipe fitter, so I was all like TIG welding pipes, big fittings, big industrial pipe work and stuff, so factories. But I've always been interested in motorbikes. So I started building bikes when I was a teenager. I worked on a few race teams in Ireland, modifying my own bikes, modifying my mates' bikes, being a helping hand on the garages and stuff. There was a fella down the road from me who used to build race bikes all the time for the Irish road racing scene. And I was always there. I finished work straight there all weekend, all the time there, going off, just working for free, getting involved and being really interested. Then I started taking up a bit more seriously. A few years after that, I moved to England. I started working for Norton Motorcycles in Donington. And you can't really brag about that anymore.
But they live again now, don't they? They've been born again.
They're just down the road from me now in Solihull, and so it'd be really exciting to see what they can do.
Yeah,
but to be honest, what happened in Norton was interesting to say the least. But it was a great time being there, and I learned loads, learned a huge amount. Yeah. But that's my background. And go on.
And what took you from that then to the stage where you were at, right, I'm going to set up the machine shop? How did that happen?
Oh, well, I've always wanted, when I was back in Ireland, I always wanted somewhere that I can go and like a mate's garage or somewhere that'd have a lathe or a mill or something that I could use. And you'd always have to pay somebody for them to use their machine, where I was completely capable of using it myself. I was just like, let me have your machine, give me a go on your machine. And nobody has access to that. I just always thought it'd be great if you could just go and pay somebody and use their machine and walk away. So it was an idea I had when I was about 21, and I wanted to take a sandblaster and lock open a local garage and then put a coin meter on it, so you could like put 50p in it and use the sandblaster for 10 minutes. Just like you have compressed air. And I was working for the idea kind of started getting traction about 5 years ago. I was away. I was at the arse end of Bosnia, I think, and I was chatting to my mate. We're touring around there at the time on two bikes, and we're chatting to mates in the intercoms, and I told him about the idea. He was like, "Yeah, that'd be great." And over the space of 2 weeks we were away, it kind of grew and grew and grew. And we should like include a lathe and a welder and all the rest of stuff. And I was like, you can't really lock all that stuff up in a petrol station, because I'll be nicked or somebody will get wrapped up in it. And but that's where the idea of the machine shop came from.
Right. And how long's it been open then? How long have you been going?
We opened about a month before the first lockdown.
Wow. Yeah. You got the same business plan as me then. I think I was a week before lockdown I went self-employed. Like, whoa, that was a good idea.
Oh man, absolute nightmare. I just opened up and I was thinking, I've got this amazing idea, and I'm just gonna have to open up, and everybody will come straight away. Just being a naive businessman at the time, and that didn't happen. And then we heard about the first reports of the coronavirus coming to UK. I was like, that'll be fine. Yeah, it's not going to bother us. It did bother us. It's been a huge thorn in my side for a long time. But we're starting to see the end of it now. And this week, since the 8th, we opened up again on the 8th doing training. And it's been absolutely incredible since. And I've been busy every day. Yeah, it's great. Yeah,
I was going to say,
enough money to buy some beer.
Yeah, happy days. I was going to say, like, would you have to restart the business plan again? But, by the sounds of it, you won't. You're going to be busy literally as soon as people can, they'll be there.
Yeah, I think that if you have a good product at a fair price, you'll always be busy. Jason, definitely. Could you close that? Or the door's closed? Sorry, there's somebody making a bit of noise in the workshop. Yeah, I think that if you've got a good product at a fair price, you'll always be busy. But obviously, we run this business for people to be coming in and out all the time and come in and like touch everything and then leave. And so that's not kind of something we can provide at the moment. So we've just kind of been allowing a person in at a time, as long as it was essential. So people fixing their bikes to commute to work, that sort of stuff. Yeah. But that's the only changes we've really made to the business plan. But apart from that, it's just kind of been waiting. But I've no mortgage or any big bills to pay, so I'm all right.
Oh, mate, yeah, good position to be in. Happy days. So what, you're based up in Hinckley, aren't you?
Yeah.
And
so I moved from... Go on.
Go on. No, go on.
There's a bit of a delay on the line. Awkward. I moved from Castle Donington, which is about an hour north of here. So I moved down to Hinckley, so we'd be in the we're in a position now, we're right beside Triumph. Royal Enfield design headquarters about 25 minutes away from here. We've got Jaguar Land Rover on our doorstep. We've got loads of interesting companies that will look for us. And we've got Coventry as well, which have like Polestar, Ford, all the kind of major car design places there.
Yeah, that whole area, it's like... It seems to be like the backbone of the bike industry, really, doesn't it? In the UK, it's like a lot of the tyre people are all round about that area. Like you said, you've got Triumph and Enfield and people. Yeah, good little place. How many people can you get in the actual machine shop itself? If you were full, how many people could come in and work?
The maximum we've had in working is 15, and it was tight. Like it's not a massive space at the moment. We're just kind of happy I didn't go for like a 4,000 square foot, because then I'd have to pay rent on that during the lockdown. But no, it's just a little bit over 1,400 square feet, so it's pretty can get busy here. But we've got a really good booking system online, so you can just let me know when you're coming in and what you want to do. And say if there's like 6 people wanting to use the sandblaster, I'm like, do you want to wait about an hour and then just kind of spread out a bit?
Yeah. I was going to ask, how do people go about like booking it? But so it's themachineShop.co.uk. I'll put, folks, if you listen to the podcast, if you check out the show notes or if you're watching the video, look at the description. There'll be a link there straight to the website, and you can get more info and book if you're over that way. You're only based in Hinckley, aren't you? You haven't got any other like franchise places yet, I take it.
Not yet. Well, to be confirmed. But if everything goes the way we're planning it to go this year, we'll be going south. We're hoping to go to Barnsley next, because Barnsley's like a good population centre between Leeds and Sheffield. But we've got a lot of customers coming up from down south, so I think we're just going to go to them first, which I'm sure a lot of people would be happy to hear about. Yeah.
There was a place. Must be about 4 or 5 years ago. I remember hearing about a place opening up in Vauxhall in London that was doing.
Yeah, I believe it was called Oval. Is that ringing a name?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Ring a bell.
I don't know if they're still. I don't know if they're still in existence, but
no, can't find any information about them.
Right.
I've heard lots of ghost stories about them. Everybody's saying, "Oh, that's been done before." I'm like,
all right.
Okay. So it was called Oval, and I can't find any information about it whatsoever. The only information I know is what people keep saying about it, and I believe it was like a bit of a shed, and you had like a pump truck, bike lifts, and that sort of stuff. And not as good as it could have been, maybe. I don't know.
Gotcha.
But I'd like if the owner's listening, I'd like him to contact me and just to discuss a few bits and pieces. Yeah. There's a few different places that are. Sorry for interrupting you.
No, it's all right. That delay's a pain in the bum, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it's okay. Don't fall out over it. There's a few places that do something that could be considered similar. To me, my business is unique, but a lot of people would consider it similar. Like there's a place in Oxford. It's a place where you can bring your car and you can work on your car, and you drive it in, and you put your car over the lift, it lifts the car up in the air, and you can work on it from underneath. But it's incredibly expensive, like £22 an hour. And I was like, you might as well just pay a mechanic at that stage. That one of our benefits benefits for the consumer at Machine Shop is that it's like can't get any cheaper. Like it's £80 for a month maximum.
Wow.
Yeah.
What, and that's everything, or like does that include any tuition, or do you pay more for tuition, or?
You pay more for tuition. So say if you. We've got a lot of people coming from like Triumph and Royal Enfield, those kind of boys that are coming in. They know how to use all the stuff anyway, all the engineers. And so they just walk in and we hurl some abuse at each other, and then they just get stuck into a machine and cutting and grinding and drink all my tea and my beer. And then they leave again. And then there's other people that come in and that they've watched like too much Discovery Channel, and I'm going to build a motorbike, Barbara. And they come in and cafe racers, people that want to build cafe racers, they're coming in. And it's great and all, and I'm really glad they're there. They're brilliant and really enthusiastic. And then they just kind of look at you, and I'm like, where do I start? Those people take up a lot of my time, and I love helping them because they're the most enthusiastic people. They're good people to have coming in and out. And you get the other people. I've banned anybody on a Harley Davidson or choppers or any of the rest of that stuff.
I was going to say, what if someone turns up with an American Chopper T-shirt on? What happens then?
We don't really do subtle at the machine shop. I think we're famed for the amount of abuse that people get. And I've
been warned about your swearing, and you actually, Bob even said to me, "Can we swear on this podcast?" I was like, "Yes, you're in safe ground. Don't worry."
That's fine. I was on the Chasing the Racing podcast, and I was so excited that I was the first person to get beeped on it, to bleep censored. I was like, brilliant. I text Chrissy. I was like, oh, I got censored. Brilliant. And he's like, no, I got beaten by Lee Johnson the day before.
Oh, no.
He said cunt as well. I was, so now I think of a worse word.
What an opener. What an opener. Straight in there.
I know. Straight in there. Yeah, that's we've got these merch for sale. When I say for sale, we do a really bad job of it. But it's usually stuff like I'm not sure if you can see that. You see that?
Yeah. It's got the machine fucking shop on the back.
Yeah. And then we've got other ones that say you can get like machine shop here. And then you get your name printed under it. But like 9 times out of 10 we just write cunt and post it to the person.
Just so you know where you stand when you go there. Yeah, happy days.
Yeah. One of them got posted back to us with a note, and it's like, I love the t-shirt, I love it, but I can't wear that in front of my wife. She made us send it back.
My missus is like that. She's got, she can swear with the best of them, and she's old Bill. She's got a proper sort of like military type sense of humour, but she cannot stand cunt. She just cannot stand the word at all. She's, she'll thump you.
I think that's my favourite thing about that word. I think that's my favourite thing about the word. I mean, it causes such reactions to it. And somebody said to me, "So well done, Bob. You're single-handedly normalised the word cunt." The term of endearment.
It is though, isn't it? Because it's certainly amongst my mates, definitely up in Scotland. It's just, it's like every second or third word, isn't it? It's just normal. And I found coming down to England, they were a wee bit more standoffish about it than certainly the Scots are. But definitely, like the Welsh and the Irish, they're exactly the same as the Scots. It just falls off the tongue, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I like it. It's a good bassy kind of cutting word. It's a good word.
You know where you stand. Yeah. You know where you stand with that word.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Right. I don't know if you've listened to the podcast before, but the sort of format I take here is I post up on social media to say who's coming on, and then people have the opportunity to leave questions. We go through the questions. Sometimes they're sensible. Sometimes they're about, what you do and what you've done. And other times they're totally random, pretty obscure. So it's a bit of a potluck, really. I don't pre-read the questions most of the time. I haven't this time. So shall we dive in and just see what we get?
Yes, absolutely. I'm kind of excited.
Lovely. Right, first off, we'll go to Patreon as usual. So massive thanks to everyone over on Patreon that's supporting us. Patreon.com/TeapotOne. First one, Matt Jordan. Do you think Bruce should stop living a lie and finally come out of the Africa Twin closet? I've done a couple of videos recently where I've been on an Africa Twin, and people seem to think I'm falling in love with the Africa Twin. What do you ride? Have you got a bike?
Yeah, I've got 959 Panigale.
Oh, nice.
And I'm a sports bike tart. Yeah. And I've got a SV650 race bike. And my favorite bike, which I'm currently restoring, is an NC23 CBR 400 1989. And that is like a really underwhelming bike for most people. I know it sounds fancy because I'm saying it really excitedly, but it's not really anything fancy. But it was, remember the baby blades from like 1990? Honda baby blade. It was like a 400cc fire blade.
Okay, right.
It wasn't great. Yeah.
I didn't get into bikes till 2008, so I'm a proper late starter.
I know. Yeah. To be honest, I'm not. I haven't been following your podcast, but I know your YouTube channel inside out. Like I've been following you for years and years. Yeah, and that's what I'm really excited about at the moment is 400cc and just ripping it around Mallory. I'm really excited about that. To go back to that man's question, I think that we should. I don't know. I think you should ditch the Beamer and go back to a Gixxer. Yeah.
I want to get. I would love to get the Gixxer back up and running, but I just don't. Yeah. I don't want her to lose all the character that she's got. I don't want her to lose the fairings and all the dents and scratches and everything she's got. No. But it's to get her on the road.
Yeah, keep it running. Yeah, absolutely. We'll sort out like suspension, engine, all the rest of it. Look at me inviting me to machine shop already.
Yeah,
We'll sort all those bits and pieces out, yeah. And
that'd be
just get
awesome
it running.
to do
But
something
yeah,
like that.
keep the. That'd be amazing, yeah. We'll keep the patina because that bike's got stories. Got there's very very few bikes and there's even less Gixxers in the world that can tell that story.
Yeah. I think there's an Aussie chap. I think he's called 7 Days in One Shower. He followed my trip, and I think he's either got 600 or 750, but he started to do. He's not done one big trip around the world, but he started to do like chunks. I think he took one to India. He's certainly done a lot of Australia. He might have even gone to the States as well. So he's starting to do quite a bit of travel on his Gixxer. So there's at least one other one out there that's done some overlanding. Yeah. No, that'd be awesome.
We put some big travel suspension on the Gixxer and some knobblies. That'd be brilliant. Everybody's agreeing with me.
Have you ridden a GS?
I have.
What did you think?
And I like it. The GS is an amazing bike. The bike isn't the problem; it's the people that ride them.
Yes. It's
you are not one of those people because you are one of the people that utilize what the GS is able to do. Like absolutely fantastic motorbike, like brilliant motorbike. But it's the stereotype of buying a Gixxer, or sorry, not a Gixxer, or the GS, and going down to the BMW dealership and buying that and buying all the boxes and then buying the matching suit and buying the helmet and then buying the boots and buying everything. It's like full Power Ranger BMW, and then doing 200 miles a year on it. That kind of that's the stereotype. But then again, stereotypes every what's a Ducati stereotype?
Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. This is the thing that does make me laugh, is that a lot of people say that about GS riders, and then when you start delving into them, it's like, are you coming out on a bike then? We'll go for a ride. And they're like, oh, it's raining. No, I don't go out when it's raining. And you're like, where do you go when you're riding? And they're exactly the same. They just go to and from the calf when it's sunny. And you're like, okay, fair enough.
That's it. Yeah.
I tell you what, though, we're talking about the Gixxers. I still love my sports bikes, but I wrote, this isn't a promo, this isn't an ad for BMW, by the way, but that new RR, oh my God, have you ridden the new RR?
No, but I love it.
Mate, it's phenomenal.
What
a machine. What a machine. Yeah. And I was at BMW UK yesterday, actually, doing they had their first sort of press type day for the new RT, and there's a new R18 Classic come out. So I was there for that, and they had the new M Sport BMW. Got a chance to not ride it, but have a look at it. Oh my God, man, that thing is beautiful. Staggering. Gorgeous.
I was in the factory in Switzerland where all the swing arms are made for them.
Yeah, they're beautiful machines. I think he said it's got 209 or 219 brake horsepower is what it comes
and
out
launch
at.
Control. Yeah. There's a video somewhere on YouTube of a fella pulling up to Mackey's drive-through on one of them. Yeah. And he orders, Big Mac, pays for the Big Mac, and then sets it into launch mode. Yeah. And just launches it to the next window and stops it again. Oh, they're absolutely brilliant. I love them. Yeah.
Do you know, I've never had the balls to use launch control. I had a Teahan, and it had it, but I just couldn't. I didn't have the nuts to do it.
I think the Teahan is probably the best bike on the road at the moment. They're the best all-rounder because they're dead comfortable. They're incredibly comfortable. Yeah. And they... What? You don't agree?
Super Duke.
Which one did you have?
I had a 2000...
I had the...
Sorry, mate, what?
I had the... I've not ridden the 1290 one, I will admit. But I had the 990R. Which was like the fancier, trick version of the 990, and it was awful, and I loved it. It was like it wasn't even a lot of power. It was like 130 horsepower or something, but it was like 130 horsepower of that way, and 130 horsepower of engine braking, and nothing in between. It was like all the time. Yeah. Fucking mad. What was the 1290 like?
Awesome. The Gen 1 and Gen 2 obviously they get progressively better, but the Gen 1 and 2s, they're still very binary throttled. That the fueling wasn't particularly great, a few other things about them. But the Gen 3 is so, literally on off, isn't it? And the Gen 3, the fueling is amazing. So you can get on that bike and literally trundle around town if you want. You know, you can stick to the speed limits. You can ride it like, you know, a vicar if you want to. But then the second you either drop it down a gear or two or just give it some juice, it just turns into this just devil. It's awesome. It screams at you like, give me more. You know, it's just a bike that wants to be spank stupid, but it will be well behaved. You know, it's like your ultimate bird. Nice and well behaved at a dinner party, and then go somewhere and the absolute demon comes out. You get me?
Yeah.
But I just found with the Tuonos, they still haven't sorted the fueling out and the reliability as well. Looks amazing, sounds amazing, but a nightmare.
I got stuck on the border between Bosnia and Croatia or somewhere. It wasn't me, it was my mate who was on the Tuono. And we just we were up, we were traveling from like Dubrovnik to some other town, and we decided to take the scenic route across what we thought were roads, following Google Maps, and the tarmac turned to mud and dirt, and then we're on this motocross track for about an hour and a half, and it was like 41 degrees of heat, and I'm fucking baking in my leathers, and I bought like the stickiest Dunlop tires I could get, but we're still riding on mud, and we said we'd take a few minutes, and we pulled up beside this nice lake, and we're staring at the lake, and there's nice blue water. We're like, right, chill out now. We're doing another few miles, and I jumped onto my bike, started it up. He jumped onto his bike, nothing. On his V4 Tuono, nothing. And he just looks at me. I'm like, there's no RAC out here, boy. And after about an hour and a half of fucking around with it and trying to strip wires and bare wires and chew these things, it was the immobilizer wire that went to the ignition to tell the ECU to fire. It was just because we were like left, right, up the side of this mountain for the last few hours. It was just broke the cable. But we got it back together, got it started, and we rode it from there to the next petrol station where we filled up while the engine was running, and then to Mostar, that's where we were going to. Yeah, while it was running. That wasn't even the worst part of it. We were up this road, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with the history of Bosnia. We're up this road, and we're like, where the fuck are we? And we seen this signpost, and we were looking at the back of the signpost. Oh, brilliant, cool, right. Directions. We had to look around, and on there it says, "Minefield, do not enter." We just rode all the way through a minefield.
Oh, you'd ridden through it already?
Through it, yeah. All the way through it. And we managed to dodge every one of them. And then we got a bit further on than that, and the road got so bad we couldn't pass it.
Yeah.
And so we had to do a U-turn. I've got a brilliant video of him trying to do a U-turn on a V4, and there's no locking him. So he's like back and forth across this minefield road. And it was 41 degrees of heat, and I had cold sweats. I'd never been so terrified for my life ever. It was honestly great crack.
Do it again. I was down there actually, just on the border with Bosnia last year. September time, I did a wee trip with Canary Motorcycle Tours. They've got a Slovenian wing, so you base yourself in Slovenia, and then they take you on rides into like Italy, Austria, down into Croatia, and then there's one bit where you go to an old abandoned military base that has it's got an airfield built into the side of a mountain. And the planes they would come straight out of the mountain onto the runway, take off, and they were away. It's amazing. You can go there. But at the end of the runway, we were like having races up and down the. Yeah. We were having races up and down the runway. But at the very end of the runway is in Bosnia, but which you're not allowed in. We weren't allowed in at the time, but on the tracker it says I got in Bosnia, so that'll do me.
Yeah, that's it. Well, under our border crossing from I can't remember which way. We must have come in from Croatia. We got to the border control, and they were like, "Oh, we need to see your passports, your V5 and your driving license." Okay, here you go. Stupid me handed all my valuable stuff over to these border guards. And then I was like, can I have them back? They're like, have what back? Yeah.
Oh no.
Fuckers. Yeah.
What,
You've been in that position. No,
yeah,
they kept them. I had to buy them back.
Oh man.
Yeah, it cost me 100 quid. Cunts. Bunch of bastards.
Yeah. It still goes on.
Yeah. Been back to Mauritania yet?
No, I've not. Funnily enough. Who was I? I was on. I think they're called Throttled Daft. I was on a Scottish podcast last night as a guest, and they were asking all about that Mauritania. That was a topic of discussion, definitely. I don't know. I'll not say I'll never go back, but I'm in no hurry at the moment, anyway.
Yeah. It's Africa's one continent I want to get to, because I've got this dream in my head. Once I get machine shop kind of stable and kind of sorting itself out, get a good level of management in there. I want to travel around the world, just on a maybe the new Yamaha Tenere T7.
Oh yeah,
I think they're cool. I really like them. Might do it on something like that, or like an old Honda or something like that, and ride around the world. But Africa is after that, so I'll go around and then go down, because Africa's terrifying.
Do it on your baby blade.
Yeah.
There you go. It's got you thinking, isn't it?
High bars and a baby blade. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Nah, none of that high bar stuff. No high bars. No. Don't adjust the suspension. No knobblies. Just take it. Take it as it is.
Yeah.
Right, going back to Matt's question, come out of the Africa Twin closet. I keep getting asked about this with the Africa Twin. I love the sound of it. The manual. I couldn't get on with the DCT on the Africa Twin. I love the sound of it, but I wouldn't have that over the likes of the GS, the KTM Super Adventure, or certainly the Multistrada. Those three straight away are above the Africa Twin for me. Africa Twin sounds best. Amazing sounding.
It's just another Honda, isn't it? It's just it handles good on fuel, comfortable. It's like a girlfriend that does everything. You want to fight from time to time.
Well, the Africa Twin will growl at you. It's got a lovely growl, but it's not the best handling. It's not the fastest. It's not the most powerful, but it certainly makes a lot of noise about it.
Yeah.
So it was great fun in the Canaries, because Canaries is just second, third gear, tight, gnarly, twisty mountain roads. So you're off the juice for the tight corner, and then you're bang on the power, then off the power, and on the power. So it was great for that.
What was the guy's name who asked the question?
That's Matt Jordan.
Matt Jordan is right. You need to come out of that cupboard, the closet.
I wouldn't mind trying the new one, because that was the 1 litre one. There's an 1100, I think, now, isn't there, of the Africa Twin? So I wouldn't mind trying that manual, plain Africa Twin, not the adventure one.
Do you think they're all a bit tame? Oh, sorry, go for it.
No, go on.
Do you think they're all a bit tame? Because I see the Multistrada came out, and I was like, Multistrada V4, that's a great idea. And I had to look at it, and it's like 160 horsepower or something, where the V4 Panigale is making like over 200. And that's what should be in a multi. It'd be crazy bike.
Yeah, but I think it's you've got to look at the market that's it's aimed at, that who's going to buy it, and the vast majority of people. I think okay. People would love to have the bragging rights to say, my big adventure bike's got 180 or 190 brake or something. But A, most people wouldn't be able to ride it anyway. So, what is the point? And B, do you need it? Because they're already obscenely fast for the road. Do you know what I mean? It's like they'll get you to 70, 80, 90 mile an hour quick as fuck. But
these are all really, really sensible points you're making here.
But that's the market they're aimed at, though, isn't it? That's the type of person that buys them, tends to be.
Yeah, I get it. See, Triumph accidentally kind of made that whole genre of bikes years ago with the Tiger 1050. That was an immense bike. That was crazy. That was like a speed triple kind of power in a bike you could use every day. You just sit on it and you ride it, and you can be an absolute hooligan, or you can throw it up in the side of the road or drive across the mountain on it. It was a brilliant bike. I'd still consider buying one now. And then they just chopped its balls off and made that Tiger 800, and where that could have been mad, could have been a great bike, was massively underpowered. But Triumphs just seem to be getting more boring all the time. And I think that whole probably the generation that are buying those bikes now, like the Africa Twin, that sort of stuff. The first taste of that was that mad bike. I'd like more of that mad bike. If they come out with a if I'm 31. And if I was offered a 200 horsepower Panigale or 200 horsepower Multistrada, I'd kind of go, I can ride the Multistrada every day and in the rain and ride across the continent on it. Yeah, I'd buy that.
Yeah. But then the KTMs, all right, they're not 200 brake, but they're 160, 170 odd brake.
Yeah.
And like the Super Adventure. I'd take the Super Adventure over the GT. Like the Super Adventure for me is that it's just a hooligan. It's great fun.
Yeah. But KTM just nail everything they make. They just make another bike. And it's like, fucking KTM have done it again.
Yeah.
They're just absolutely brilliant. If you look at what Triumph and KTM started up at the same time in 1992. So KTM were Austrian owned, and then they're bought out by Bajaj in India. 1992. Triumph started again with John Burr. KTM started making bikes that people loved straight away, just mad hooligan bikes. And Triumph started making great bikes, absolutely great bikes. But if you look at the sales figures, like KTM's up like nearly 150,000 units a year, whereas Triumph's still at like mid 30s. And I just think that was probably before Corona time, but I don't know what they're at now. And I think that if Triumph started making mad shit like the Rocket 3 and the 675, which is a world beater, it inspired people to kind of fall in love with Triumph again. But they've just released the Speedy again, which is just like another Speedy. Great. And it doesn't compete with a Super Duke, or it doesn't compete with a Tone, or it doesn't. It's just competing against the last one they made.
I don't know, like this new 1200 speed triple. I think that's got potential. Not ridden it yet, but I think that's got potential, because the Lita speed triple, the old one, well, the last version, that was a fantastic road bike. That was a fantastic road bike. That was very close for me. That was very close to being the best all-round road bike under the Gen 3 Super Duke. Just the Super Duke, just that big engine on the Super Duke, just had the roar, just had that hooligan element a little bit more than. But the Triumph was on a great bike to ride. Really was a lot of fun. So I mean, I can't wait to try this 1200cc. I think it's going to be phenomenal. Yeah,
it is an amazing bike in its own right. I just, I see a lot of people come from Triumph and sometimes a little bit disheartened with where the company could be, if that makes it any sense.
They seem to be chucking out so many bikes, like so many different models.
Yeah.
It's like we get sent the press packs, and it's literally like at least every month, if not more regular than that, there's another press pack come for another edition of a bike or a new bike. And you're just, how many have you got now in the range? It's insane.
And no sports bike.
No.
Make a sports bike.
Yeah. Like,
they do the... Go on.
Sorry, this delay is annoying, and it really is. People, if you're listening, I'm really sorry. We have like a second or so delay. It's why we keep talking over each other. It's really annoying. We're not doing it on purpose, I promise you. Have you tried the Rocket 3?
I rode one briefly, and it was hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious. And that's, the design brief of that must have been just be faster than everything. Including all sports bikes ever. It's a monster. I love it. And I'm not a cruiser type guy. I know I've got the beard and the hair and all the rest of stuff, but I hate cruisers. And that's the only cruiser I'd ever consider. That and a Divel X.
I've not ridden that.
It's like power wheelies in second gear. Fucking immense. Crazy.
It's like one of the other reporter lads had said to me, he said, wait till you wheelie that Rocket 3. And I'm not a wheelier. I was like, fuck off. No way that thing wheelies. And he said, honestly, that thing will wheelie no problem.
Yeah.
Like,
wheelie and third,
yeah. 2.5 litre. It's like a car, isn't it? It's nuts.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It pulls up behind you, like, oh, it's a delivery truck. Oh, it's a rocket. Yeah, it sounds like a big diesel. It's great.
Yeah. I really want to get it out in like the hot summer day, because I had it right over New Year, so it was like 0 degrees, and I was riding on these really shitty backcountry lanes around Kent. You just couldn't. I could have barely scratched the surface of what that engine's got. So I would love to get it again and maybe take it on a trip or something, like do the North Coast 500 or something on it. Be phenomenal on some of the big roads up in Scotland. Right, next question. Let's crack on with the next question. Brandon
Second
Rain.
question.
I know, yeah, that's not bad, is it?
Yeah.
I'm just going to check. I'm not looking at my phone. I'm checking at my sound recorder because it failed on me on the last one. So I'm just making sure it's still recording. Which it looks like it all is. Happy days. Right, Brandon Rain. Very cool idea. Question. What is the weirdest thing anyone has ever come in to make, and how did it go?
Weirdest thing. Sex chair.
A sex chair?
Sex chair. Yeah. And
tell.
I couldn't wait to get the man out. He was really concerning. He was really weird.
Wow.
So he arrived a week like earlier, and he came in. He's like really giddy, like wouldn't settle at all. And he's like, I want to do this. I want to make this frame out. And it was like a normal chair. Another way, and you got the spine of it, and then the seat comes out, and then the front leg. Yeah. Except it was like that wide. So the whole idea was that you'd sit on it and you'd straddle it, and then you had a hook on the. It was bizarre. It was really weird. And I was like, do I call the police? Do I just let him at it? But it was he'd been making it. He came in for a welding lesson, and he paid for a day then just to kind of use the saws and use all the rest of the stuff to put it together. And he just kept asking advice about this, and I was like, what's the use for it? He's like, it'll be strong enough. And I was like, what's it used for? He goes, oh well, yeah, I'm a part of this club. I'm like, right, okay. one of those clubs. But he was an odd customer. But apart from that, it's odd things. It's mostly just motorbikes coming out all the time. We've got this fella building an old E-type Jag, I think. He's from Essex. And he comes up once a week and just comes up and mills things. I mean, before any of the lockdown stuff. Yeah. And he comes up once a week and he machines a thing, and he'll powder coat another thing. And of course, it's hard to get these parts anymore. And of course, they're all like manually made parts anyway. So he just replicates them. A French lad. And he's the most fantastic engineer, but really bizarre fella. And it's more kind of weird people than weird things. Yeah.
I've got to admit, in the answer to that question, I was not expecting a sex chair, and it sort of threw me. Chair. Yeah, it threw me for for the rest of that.
I tried dealing with him. Yeah. But,
wow.
Yeah, it's just kind of odd bits and pieces. People bringing in like fucking trolleys and bits of shit that they break around the garden. They're going to do me a bit of a welding job. And I'm not really here to do that kind of work. I'll do it anyway, a bit of cash.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Right, next one. Mark Fulcher. Oh, here we go. What's this one going to be? Help me, ducks. Now, domestic help is required once again, so I'm hoping you both can help me with the latest misunderstanding in my house. We get involved in all Mark's domestics. So, when filling the dishwasher, should the cutlery be put in the cutlery rack pointing side down or pointy side up? I'm a firm believer that pointy side up is the correct way. Dishwasher, pointy down or pointy up for cutlery?
Pointy up.
Pointy up?
Yes, okay. Pointy up.
Yeah. What's the logic?
Survival of the fittest.
Whatever they say, they have.
Yeah. If you recognize that the pointy sharp things are pointing towards you and you still cut yourself on them, it's kind of like, well.
Right.
You should be more careful.
Yeah, got you. I've got a dishwasher. Well, we have a dishwasher, but I'm not allowed to use it. My wife's like, no, you're not using the dishwasher. It costs too much money. And I'm like, this isn't 1960. Do you know what I mean? It's like probably more economic than filling the sink up and doing the dishes.
Yeah.
But no, she won't.
Yeah.
She'd just use it as another cupboard to stash stuff in. So
I think the whole I think every house should have 2 dishwashers and no cupboards.
No cupboards. Why?
I say like that. So I'm probably a little bit embarrassed to admit that I only recently learned how to use a dishwasher. Not so much how to use it, dishwasher etiquette.
Right.
And I've kind of been brought up in garages and like spend every waking hour working all the time. So I kind of neglect my home life, as in like I don't wash my clothes regularly enough, and you know, I'll wash a plate when I need a plate. I'm typical male. And I was in my mate's house and I put a dirty dish into the clean dishwasher, and he freaked out. He said, "What are you doing?" I'm putting it where it should be. And he's like, "You don't do it like that. You put everything on the side and then put the clean stuff away." And I was like, "All right, that makes sense. But why don't you just have 2 dishwashers and use them both as cupboards?" Yeah. So you use all the stuff out of one. Yeah. And as it gets dirty, you put it into the other. Yeah.
I see your logic. I do see your logic.
Yeah. And then you can get rid of all the fucking cupboards because, you know, they're just holding clean stuff. Why don't you use 2 dishwashers? Does that make sense?
It does. It actually does. Maybe I've had too much beer, but that does actually make sense. You might be onto something there, Bob.
Yeah, he said, I'm one of those guys that if you put me into a kitchen for a week and just observed, I'd find all new uses for everything. Because I've never seen it before. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. Good luck explaining that to the other half. I'll try that with my missus and see how we get on.
Yeah.
I can't see it down well. Next one, Dave Allenby. Hi Bruce, my question would be, when are they looking to expand on opening sites up north? Looks like a great concept that has potential to grow. Well, we kind of covered that, didn't we? So expansion, what's the global master plan?
I don't really want to expose too much of my business.
Sex chairs.
Expansion. Sex chairs. Yeah, we're going to mass produce sex chairs. We'll get that guy back and make him the MD.
Yeah.
So obviously we want to expand. The whole goal of Machine Shop is to provide a really good service at an incredibly good price. And I'd love to be able to spread that all over the country. Obviously that's going to take time. We would like to open another one as soon as possible. In my head, I'm kind of setting myself a stretch goal. I might not reach it, but I'd like to open another one this time next year. But it really depends on how the economy goes, and from day one, I always wanted this place to be kind of recession proof, because I came out of my apprenticeship straight into the 2008 recession, and it was a right kick in the balls. And I've always kind of been wary of recession. So when I was starting up this place, I made it like I really screwed the costs down and really screwed the pricing structure down. So it would be recession proof if we needed. So hopefully it survives the oncoming recession, which we know is going to happen. But we would like to be open another one this time next year. But it'll be down south. It'll be probably southeast London, that kind of direction. Okay. After that, we want to go very, very north, probably Barnsley. A lot of people are asking for it in Edinburgh. A lot of people are asking around Cardiff, Swansea kind of area. But it's not reliable enough just to go to population centres, because you can just go and plonk yourself in a place where there's lots of people. But usually when there's lots of people in one area, they're usually retail or tech kind of skill levels. Whereas the reason I opened up in Hinckley is because I knew that I had Birmingham metal bashers, I had the Coventry car industry, and not just them, but the heritage behind it, as in like people that come here, like, oh, my dad used to work for a Rover, my dad used to work for Land Rover, my dad used to do this, and I want a bit of that. So we'll concentrate on surviving this year first, and then we'll have some firm plans by January next year.
So do you do all this sort of background research yourself then, or do you have someone that does that for you, that looks at like what's the potential of that area and this area? Or was that just all you?
I do it all myself, and then I've got a very, very good friend of mine, which I wouldn't be able to start any of this without his help. His name is Kevin. Hey, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. And basically, what I do is I spend about 2 or 3 weeks thinking about a thing and reading about a thing, and I might go to the area and I'll speak to some people and I'll read some more and watch some YouTube videos and think about it and think about it and think about it. And then I just get blind drunk on some Jack Daniels and I talk shit at him for about 3 hours, and he just writes everything down real fast. And he goes, that was shit. That's shit. That's shit. That's shit. And then we're left with like 2 good points, and then we like shovel that into a business plan. And that's actually how the machine shop happened, because we went down to, when we were doing the market research for this place and having a look at like the rent-a-ramp style places, we drove around 5 or 6 of them in a day, and then we ended up in the bike shed in London, because I'd never been to the bike shed in London, and I wanted to go see if it was everything that everybody said it was. And then I just got wankered drunk and we wrote everything down on my tablet and turned that into a business plan, and then went to the banks with it, and that worked out, and now we're here. So
wow.
Yeah, I do all the research, and I do as much as I can myself, because the way I see it is, if I learn everything now, in the future when I've got a bigger team, and if I've got, say, a bad apple in the team, and he tries to pull the wool over my eyes, I'll see it straight away.
Yeah, I got you.
So I've done my own website. I do all my own marketing. I'm learning how to use Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff, because I'm not big on those social media type things. As I said, I've spent all my life in garages and stuff. I'm learning marketing, which was my biggest challenge so far. Learning more about health and safety and insurance and all that stuff all the time. So yeah, I do everything myself. Do as much as I can myself. You
can't sleep. I mean, you're always, every time we've spoken, no matter what time of the day or night, no matter what day, you're in the workshop. Do you sleep all at all?
I do. Sometimes on the couch here. My girlfriend hates me. But no, I do sleep, but I try and stick to what we call my 5 a day, which is 5 units of alcohol and 5 hours of sleep. Then I'm fine for the next day. If I get too much sleep, I'm very groggy the next day.
Oh, to be 31 again. Jeez. Yeah. I honestly, like the couple of beers I have in a podcast, I feel rough the next day. It's shocking. Yeah, getting old is shit. Don't do it. Just opt out of that one. Tick the box. Opt out.
I'm trying not to.
No,
I'm starting to get a few greys. I'll end up like you in a few weeks.
Oh, mate, this almost came... Not the beards, but the greys almost came overnight. It was just like, you see one and you're like, is that grey or is it just like blonde? Because I had blonde hair originally. So it's like, is it grey or is it blonde? What is it? And the next thing, it's like, oh, Santa. Santa's looking at me. Oh, happy days. It's just
How old are you now?
40. I'm 44 at the moment. I'll be 45 the end of this year.
Fucking Christ.
Yeah, I know.
We better get to the next question. You don't have long left.
Very good. I like that. Thing is, see, when I shaved this off, I'm a proper baby face. Yeah. Well, I was the last time I could see my face. But I mean, I look really young without my beard, and then with the beard I look really old. So, well, never mind. No, what I was going to say was, you're saying about, when you're effectively a one-man army with your own business, you've just got to learn everything, haven't you? Like, you've got to learn marketing, you've got to learn the whole side of social media, there's the business side, there's promotion side, there's everything, health and safety for you, it's there's so much you've got to take into account. I just don't know how you do it.
You just don't do anything else. I've got my work ethic from my dad. My dad was an extremely hard worker and extremely intelligent man. And I always looked up to him for that sort of stuff. Probably worked too much and might not have benefited his home life so well. He'll hate that. But it was definitely something that was so when I was a kid, bunked me off primary school and would go working, and then secondary school would go working, and then I came to my junior cert, which was kind of like Irish GCSEs. And after I'd done them, I was all right in like the typical stuff, like typical technical drawing and maths, and the stuff, that logical stuff. No good at spelling. That sort of stuff was fine for me. So then I was like, do I stay in school and do my A levels, which we call the leaving cert, or do I just leave school and go get an apprenticeship? And I was like, yeah, leave school, because like school is no good to me. And that was genuinely a really, really good thing for me to do. I left school and I started working straight away, and served my time as an apprentice, pipe fitter, and started getting more involved in motorbikes and that sort of stuff. But I definitely got my dad's work ethic from that type of thing. I mean, he doesn't sleep either. Doesn't do a whole lot of sleeping, but as soon as he's awake, he's like thinking of the next job he has to do, He's helping somebody or doing something for somebody, and he's great like that, and super logical and clever. Definitely passed that on to me, and great at fixing things. And but I've kind of used that work ethic and that kind of style of thinking to grow the business. So I wake up in the morning, and first thing I do is roll over and go through my emails, and then I roll to the other side and say good morning to my girlfriend. Oh yeah, you. So I wake up in the morning and I'm straight at work. I'm at work immediately, and then I'll leave the house and I go, I forgot to eat, and then I'll swing by Mackey's and get some shit food and straight into work again. And I always open up early. We open at 4 p.m. during the day, and then work in the evenings times. But most days I open early just for whoever needs to use the place. So I'm here and sweeping the floor, I'm cleaning up, and doing marketing. I'm writing scripts for my YouTube channel that's coming. It's gonna be great. It'll be hilarious. Yeah, it'll be ready to launch in about a month. And right. So it's definitely, I'm just learning all the time, and I wouldn't say I'm superhuman. I'm just kind of, this is my thing. This is what I'm interested in. Gotcha. And it kind of, yeah.
So go on. What's the YouTube channel going to be about then? How are you going to structure that? Is it just going to be like a vlog, day-to-day life in the machine shop, or are you going to be like a tutorial base, or all?
It's going to be hectic. Yeah, we'll call it hectic, because that's what I describe life in the machine shop as.
You're going for American chopper, aren't you? That's what you're going to do.
God, no. We're going to take the piss out of as many people as we can.
Nice.
So last time you wanted to learn about something, excuse me, you go to YouTube, you go straight to YouTube, as everybody does. And then you sit down and you watch a 14.5-minute video or longer on how to use a screwdriver, or how to fucking, turn a microwave on, or fucking, wipe your arse, or something fucking basic. It's always a massive video. And that's a kind of something that's happened recently. I believe it's because of monetizing videos. Whereas years ago, it was like a 2-minute video on how to do a really specific thing. So I want to get back to that. And my whole plan is to do a 30-second video, maximum 1.5 minutes, on how to use the thing. And it's going to be super fast cuts. So do this, do that, do that, do that. And it's just me shouting at the camera all the time on how to do a thing. Either where it's how to use the lathe sat behind me. There's a mill over there. And just do short instructional videos to the point. Mm-hmm. That's what the whole structure is going to be. I think that's going to be really exciting and something fresh and new.
That'll be good for Reels. That Instagram does Reels.
Instagram Reels, yeah.
Yeah. That's that sort of format, isn't it? Very short, punchy. Is it?
Yeah,
it is Reels, isn't it? Or
Reels,
there's a new
correct,
one. Yeah, YouTube's just launched its own version. Is it Shorts? YouTube Shorts. Yeah, it is.
Didn't know that, but yeah. Again, I'm learning all this stuff.
YouTube has just launched their own version of Reels, which is called Shorts, and in certain sectors, that is massive. It's not really been done in the bike side of things yet. Yeah. Probably there will be people that will do it now. TMF, Missing in Flyer will be frantically Googling Shorts, trying to figure out how to do it. But I see what you're saying there about video length, because that is definitely the case. Videos are longer than they used to be. Used to be the shorter the better.
Fucking head in. And I'm not interested in making any money off YouTube. Like, money is not my motivator whatsoever. I'm literally doing this for the crack. I'm on literally paying myself minimum wage because the prices that we charge here are so low. It's £80 for a welding lesson here. For 4-hour welding lesson, it's 80 quid. Yeah, and I have to pay for the machine out of that, the gas, the material, the electric, all that stuff. I make pennies off them, but I'm just like punching them out all the time. And but that's what we're here to do, just again provide a good service at a fair price. And yeah, so I'm not looking to make money from the YouTube side of things. I just want the information out there. And I've done a lot of stuff. I've built a lot of bikes, and the knowledge I have is not amazing, but I think it's becoming a little bit more rare as engineering moves from this country over to the Middle East. And I've got a bank of it here, and I want to give it to everybody. I want everybody to know, and I want to bring British engineering back to Britain.
How do you think that's going to go now because of COVID? And it was almost like it was almost like a wake-up call. I found in the first few weeks, months of lockdown and everything, when it was really uncertain and we didn't know we didn't know how bad was this COVID thing. Is it going to wipe everyone out or what's going on? And then it was like, how bad's it going to get with lockdown? Are we going to lose power? Are we going to lose food? Supply chains. And it was like this sudden realization, we don't make anything in the UK anymore. We rely on everything from overseas. And it was like, it's almost, I kind of thought to myself, I wonder if this is going to be the wake-up call we need to sort of bring fabrication back and manufacturing back onto our own shores. But
I don't think it will.
Seem to have happened. Yeah.
I don't think it will. I think that my views on this are kind of, a lot of people wouldn't like them. I think engineering won't come back to this country. Seriously.
Do you know?
No. It's if you had two competing football teams, one football team has 1.3 billion people that will work for £3.50 a week, versus 63 million people that will they won't go to work for less than £10 an hour. We can't compete. It's not going to happen. It just won't happen unless there's like a huge economical crisis where, there's nothing left in the country and there's like, just lines and lines of people looking for work all the time. And then the wage drops. We can't compete. We can't compete with anybody. And like, I see JLR down the road, like, everybody's on huge money all the time. And then they go out and spend that money on, a BMW. Because they want to compete with the next person that has a BMW or the next person that has a Mercedes. Yeah. And every time they buy a car, the money goes out the country. You buy a Land Rover Defender now, and the money goes out the country, either to Tata or to wherever they're made. Right?
No, yeah, I get you. No, I do get you. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of a romantic thought, that, isn't it, that I had about maybe this could kickstart British manufacture, but it seems to be coming.
I think it's gone too far. Yeah.
Yeah. We seem to be bringing manufacture back, but into little small niche areas. It's like there's watchmaking, isn't there? There's a company out in the Isle of Man that makes world-leading watches in the Isle of Man. And these things are like £4 or £5 million for a watch, and there's like a 4-year waiting list for it, and you're just like, where did that come from?
I don't know. I don't understand that, because British engineering came from a good product at a good price. But now it's turned into a premium product at an astronomical price. So take Land Rover. I grew up in a house where if I was found with any tools that said made in China, got slapped across the back of the head. Yeah. It had to be made in Sheffield or made in England. It was the best stuff you could get. Marples, chisels, record vices, that sort of stuff. Brilliant. I moved over here 6 years ago. And I was like, let's go to Sheffield. And I was like, there's fuck all in Sheffield anymore. It's done. You do a Land Rover tour, and it's like, there's nothing there anymore. It's these small little niche companies that make a really, really premium product at a massive price because British engineering. Like, to me, that wasn't British engineering. British engineering was a fair price, but an extremely good product. Yeah. Land Rover started out being, the vehicle for anybody. You could be the Queen or you could be a farmhand, and you still drove the Land Rover around the Series 1 Land Rover around the farm. It didn't matter. It was classless. It didn't matter who it was. Now you have massive money, Land Rover became Range Rover, and Range Rover went up. That was the fancy thing, and now Land Rover's followed it, and you can't buy a Land Rover anymore. The normal person can't buy a Land Rover, utility vehicle, and that's happened with everything. Everything like Jag has gone. That Jag was always kind of premium anyway, but I think there could be a market for British engineering, small batch numbers, but a really, really good product. So I've got this idea in my head that I'll never do anything with, but imagine if TVR, remember TVR? Mm-hmm. Crazy cars? Imagine if they came out and done what they used to do, which was made like kind of crap cars with amazing engines, and handled crazily. Yeah? Imagine if that was cheap. Imagine if we started selling those cars to all these young boys that go out and buy GTRs and they want to buy, these drift cars, the MX-5s and that sort of stuff, man. I'd love to see something like that happen in the UK, because we're really good at engineering. We're extremely good at engineering.
Have you not just sort of nailed it already, where you said that people won't work for less than £10 an hour? You got minimum wage now, which is, what is that, £8 an hour or something, minimum wage now. So is it actually possible to create a car like that for cheap, reasonable money? Is that possible? Is it just financially viable anymore for a company? An individual could, but for a company to actually have a viable business creating it, is that possible?
Not to get past the Euro 5 specs or the Euro 8, whatever they're at the moment, with all the crash bars and stuff, and rightly so. You need to keep things safe and good.
Hence why in the UK now, everything it's a premium product, isn't it? That's got to be why, is that the overheads to actually build something in this country now are so vastly more expensive than they are to do it in China or India, that I suppose that's the angle they have to go to. Yeah, but then that's Toyota. Toyota are a huge global company, aren't they? That probably can offset some losses to do that, just to have that, just to say, well, we still make here in
manufacturing in the UK. Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because we want the best, but we want it the cheapest. It's if you can buy that product for £5, or you can buy it for £20, people will spend £5 on it, won't they? They just will.
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely will.
Yeah. Right, next one, Brian McManus.
Could I pause you there for a moment and go for a quick? Of course you can, mate. We'll edit that bit out.
No worries.
Sorry, back a second. You might be able to hear me pee.
Yeah, you've still got your mic on.
Yeah, I do. Awesome. That's going to be awkward. I'll do a quiet wee. You're going to leave this in, aren't you?
I'm quite tempted to leave it in. We could carry on the conversation.
Yeah, fuck it, yeah. What's the next question?
Brian McManus. Sorry, folks, Bob's having a pee. Hi to all. A question for Bob. With your vast knowledge and experience in engineering, I hope you can answer the question that is on every budding engineer's lips. Where is the magical place that all 10mm sockets disappear to? Thanks in advance, Brian.
I'm gonna put this question back to the manufacturers and ask why they don't include 3 10mm sockets in every tool set.
It's the 10 and the 12 that always go missing when I do very, very basic spannering. But if I ever get the spanners out, they just disappear. I can never find the bloody things.
To be honest, I don't really have that issue here. I've got cameras on everything, right? And when people come in and they sign up, I warn them. I'm like, put everything back, because if you don't, I will find you and I will kill you.
I have a special set of skills.
Yeah.
How does that work then? Because obviously a lot of people are quite precious about their toolkits, and there's a thing for everything, and everything has its place. So how does that work in the machine shop? Do you have OCD? It must drive you crazy.
No. Jesus, no. To be honest, I'm kind of one of the worst of them, because I'll like use one of the machines and I'll leave that little bit of dirt there, and I'll clean it up in 10 minutes, and then somebody else goes to use that machine, and I'm like, oh, somebody's left it a mess already. I'm not cleaning that mess, so they just make more mess on top of that, and that happens about 10 times over, and then I have to come back and clean a lot of it. So it is getting better, but it's just down to my discipline for myself, and putting the rules in place to. So it's a very important thing to do now. That's what I'm doing the YouTube channel for. So when somebody comes in, instead of me having to go through everything, missing points or forgetting a thing or saying something I shouldn't say, I'll just go, here, watch this. They'll get the tablet and they'll go through everything, and it's kind of an induction in the machine shop etiquette. Put your tools back. If you're going to drink beer, bring beer the next time, and refer to everybody as a cunt. And yeah, that's kind of machine shop etiquette so far. But yeah, it's to be honest, it's not too bad. People tend to put everything back, and the customers that I bring or that are attracted to a place are usually really, really good people. I've not really had any difficult people in and out the door, but it's very much how I approach them when they come in. I'm quite an upfront personality when maybe a strong character, and I'll come in and I kind of set them on the straight first and just say, look, if you fuck around here, you will be asked to leave immediately. So it kind of keeps everybody down to earth. And so they do behave themselves.
Good. Best way to be, I find, isn't it? It's just, be up front, let people know where the boundaries are, the land, how the land lies.
Yeah.
Everyone knows where they're going from, don't they? Yeah, happy days.
Yeah.
So in answer to your question, Brian, 10mm sockets, we don't know, just buy more.
No, you have to put cameras on them.
Put cameras on them.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Can you see the cable tray just there?
Yeah.
See that black thing? That's a camera.
What, and the other things as well? There's like 3 along there, or are they lights?
Yeah, there's literally the entire place is covered in cameras.
Wow. What's that for then? Security, or just covering your arse in case anything happens?
It's liability. So if somebody comes up and I give them a lathe induction and don't stick your hand in the big spinny thing, and then they go, and they hurt themselves. I'm like, told you not to do that.
Yeah.
And so it basically just mitigates any chance of them blaming faulty equipment.
Yeah, fair one. Cover your arse. Absolutely. Definitely. Nice. Right, next one. Jim Benbow. Can someone make a butt plug with Marmite embedded and give it to TMF? Do you know what TMF is? Have you heard of TMF, the Missington Flyer?
Yes.
Right. Well.
Yes, he done a video on MOT station one time.
Oh, did he? Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, he did.
Right.
That's the only one I've seen, because I was looking at doing MOTs here. I want to do self-service MOTs here. How crazy would that be?
Self-service MOTs?
MOTs, wow. Yeah. I know.
That could get interesting, couldn't it?
yeah, it could. Yeah. Obviously, it wouldn't be completely self-service. We'd have like an MOT
someone
tester,
overseeing it,
and then the person would get involved with that tester and then have a talk through. It would be a full MOT, but the person would understand. So the main goal of Machine Shop is to teach. So we're teaching people how to do an MOT effectively. So next time they come for an MOT, they'll be able to kind of pre-check everything first.
Bob, that's a great idea. That is a great idea, actually, isn't it? Wow, yeah. Initially, I thought, what a way of getting through your MOT, doing it yourself. But then...
No, it's not dodgy. No, it's to make sure that you're...
It's a really good idea, yeah. So, butt plugs with TMF. The backstory to this is... TMF has been on YouTube for probably 5 years now, 6 years, and he's one of the biggest in the UK. He's got nearly 200,000 subscribers. And about a year or two ago, I had him on a podcast, and he let it out that he's had a butt plug somewhere in the background of when he's doing office vids, so he's like chatting away in his office. He said there's a butt plug somewhere in the background on that, and he's just had it hidden there, never ever mentioned it. And obviously, it's marketing genius, because all that happens now is that people go back and look through his back catalogue and they look for and it's there. And when he's on the podcast, he's got a habit of producing butt plugs now when he's on camera. So people are like, butt plugs. So can you make him a butt plug with some Marmite in it and then
fucking yes
to TMF?
Yeah, absolutely.
It needs to be a big butt plug, Bob. It needs to be a big butt plug. That's all I'm saying.
I've got a 4-inch radius on my lathe, so 8 inches altogether. Yeah, that reminds me of something that was planned middle of lockdown for the end of lockdown. So it might not happen. We don't know. One of my friends started dating a porn star, and I've not met her, but through him we had arranged
what's
that
porn?
they'd exactly.
Porn. What's porn?
Yeah. Pornography, where they have sex on camera, Bruce.
What's sex? I'm married now, mate. I'm married. It's gone.
Yeah. So the discussion was that they'd film one here, and the start of it would be the person making a butt plug on the lathe. And, but if it actually transpires, if we actually go through with it, I'll invite you along to filming.
Oh, thanks.
I won't tell you, Mrs. Yeah, so.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Yeah.
That'll make an interesting video.
Yeah.
I might get some views on that one. You never know. Next question. David Bacholtz. I think it's Bacholtz. Bob, what is the worst bodge you've ever seen on a bike, and how life-threatening was it?
Worst bodge? By me or by other people?
Whoever you're comfortable saying.
I've seen some dodgy shit. I've seen cross-threaded bolts on wheel spindles. I've seen engines. Well, the most common one I see as a fabricator, like most of what I do is welding. The most common one I see is engines being brought to me with the chain snapped, and then the chain comes around and slams into the engine casing and punches a hole in the engine casing, and then filled back up with chemical metal. That's a common one.
That's common.
And then common, Jesus. Yeah.
Here's one you prepared earlier.
Oh, big noises. Oh, it's heavy. Right. So, this is one that I recently welded back together. So this is the crankcase off a CR500. Mm-hmm. Can you see all this?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So that's a Kickstarter of a CR500, and these things kick back. Like if you don't commit to the kick, they tend to blow this bit off. So that was brought to me chemical metal, and I had to weld it back together. And it's the best I could do with it. It's not great, but it's at least the engine. Yeah, this is like a 1984 engine, and there ain't many of them around, so I had to put it back together as best I could. But we see a lot of that. And how's this for a cylinder? This is off a 2-stroke.
Good God,
CR500. I know, massive, isn't it?
Reminds me of TMF.
Yeah,
that's huge. Bloody hell.
Yes, CR500. They were made in the 1980s to I think early 90s, and you couldn't ride them. Completely unrideable. They made these because they say suicide with a rope is for pussies. Yeah.
Cool. Right, where were we there? That was worst botch, wasn't it? Worst bodge job, David. Right, next one. Here we go. I was wondering when he was going to turn up. Pete English. Now, Pete has a bit of a reputation for his questions. Hi, guys. Hope you're both fitting well. My question. Your significant other has just dropped a bombshell and asked you how many partners you've had before you met. Do you tell her she was the only one and look like a wet lettuce, or do you tell her the truth and face the consequences? And how do you think they'll react if you told them the truth?
Well, I told her the truth, and I'll tell you how she reacted. Actually, no, I'll get in a lot of trouble.
It's all right. No one listens. Come on, tell me.
She bested me.
Oh, no. No.
Yeah.
Oh, nightmare. I'm married a nun. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. Oh, no. That's
we'll leave that one there because she's going to kill me for saying that. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's probably the quickest answer we've ever had for a Pete English question. He's going to be disappointed with that. Yeah. Tell him the truth and then accept the consequences. Next one, Robert Forster. Greetings. Quick question. Jaffa cakes. Are they biscuit or cake? And can you dunk them in your brew?
They're a cake because when they go off, they go hard. If they're a biscuit, when they go off, they go soft.
I was not expecting that answer from you. That detailed level of knowledge.
Yeah.
I wasn't
don't know why I know that. Yeah.
What is the biscuit of choice in the machine shop then?
Oh, fuck it. We're not that fancy. Biscuits. I think there's some digestives in the fridge there that haven't been looked at in a while. We're too busy for biscuits.
You're never too busy for biscuits, Bob. Never.
No, I'm usually I'm the fella that kind of turns into an awful prick. And I'm like shouting, real grumpy and storming around. I'm like, you all right, Bob? I'm like, no, fucking, this is when was the last time you ate, Bob? And I'm like,
yeah.
Yesterday sometime. I've got a headache because I haven't eaten in a while, so
yeah.
And then I just order something really unhealthy.
I've noticed that. That's definitely something I've noticed with age, is that when I catch myself and I know that I'm getting really bad tempered and I'm short fused and I'm moody, it's like I either need food or like water. I need to drink or I need to eat, one or the other. And it's what a difference in me once I've had something to eat. Yeah, terrible.
Yeah.
Right, Ravenshead Rider. To you both, a very important question. There's another one that's food-based. Dairy Milk or Galaxy? What's your favourite and why?
Galaxy. I think that Dairy Milk is too chocolatey. When I say too chocolate, it's tastes like normal chocolate. But with Galaxy, it's just different. Nothing else tastes like Galaxy. That makes sense.
I'm finding stuff out about you that I just wasn't expecting. Do you know that?
I'm finding... I feel the same. I didn't know I knew this much stuff.
Actually, I would go Dairy Milk. Got to say, I'd go Dairy Milk. Right, next one.
It's very vanilla, though, isn't it? It's kind of like, let's do missionary. What? I love missionary.
Hadn't thought of it that way, but yeah. Yeah, but you know where you stand, so to speak, with missionary, don't you?
Yeah, well, then again, like, if you know you've got a good sex life if missionary's a treat.
I'm not going to be... Oh, my life just isn't fulfilled now, is it? Oh, no. Oh, anyway, never mind. Right, we'll move across onto Instagram. So it's at TeapotOne Insta. First one we have here is... it's from Struan, Remotorcycled. Do you follow Remotorcycled at all? Have you ever heard of him? It's a Scottish guy called Struan Ucher. He does custom build bikes, cafe racers and things, but he's basically taught himself.
That's actually a really good idea. Building. Never heard of that before.
What, Remotorcycled?
No, doing a cafe racer.
Oh, right. Yeah. He's joined that queue. He's a good lad. He's been on a podcast. Funny guy.
By the way, Remotorcycles, we take the piss out of everybody all of the time.
Yeah, he'll be well aware.
That's fine.
You should watch the podcast with him. You'll see what he's like. He'd fit in well, I think, with you.
Yeah. Awesome.
What do you enjoy most about running this company? What were the biggest challenges in setting up something like this? And can you move to Aberdeen, please?
I'll answer that backwards. No, I'm not going to Aberdeen. I was there before.
There's not much up in Aberdeen, is there?
Nah. I'd go to Edinburgh, which is something like how far away is Edinburgh from Aberdeen?
About an hour, 2 hours, something like that. Hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe about.
Yeah, no. Edinburgh's
just England, basically. It's just a beautiful England.
Yeah, they say Scottish people are cranky. They're cranky Celts. Mm-hmm. But they're like Celtic people, but they've been attached to England for too long. That's why they're cranky. So, sorry, could you repeat that? What was the most challenging and what was the most rewarding?
What do you enjoy most about running the company, and what were the biggest challenges in setting it up?
What do I enjoy most? There's lots of stuff I enjoy about teaching. I really enjoy teaching. And it's more, it's every so often you come across somebody and you see it in their face and it just kind of goes click, right, I understand exactly what you're saying. And then they'll go back to, like, because I do a lot of welding classes and they come in and they're like, I've always kind of wanted to weld and not sure if I'll be any good at it. And I'm like, everybody can weld it, everybody can do it. It's nothing special, it's not hard. And they're kind of like, yeah. because welders like to big themselves up a lot, and they kind of go in and they'll start off welding their shit for about 2 hours, and then I'll say something, I'll explain it to them in different ways all the time, and every so often something clicks with them. They'll go, oh yeah, I get that, and then they'll go at it, and then they've nailed it. They can weld. Just all of a sudden, you say the right thing, and you're like, yes, absolutely. It's just that little kind of glimmer in their eyes. That's really rewarding. I like when people learn new skills. Like they come in, they can do like paint and powder coat and welding and engine building or 3D printing. We teach CAD here as well. We teach fabrication, pipe band. Yeah, man. Yeah, the whole lot. Yeah, I've been building bikes 15 years, and not just in like doing the odd bike, like manufacturing bikes. Like when I worked at Norton, we're pumping out bikes all the time, and I learned a massive amount of stuff there. It's easy to build a custom bike, but if you try and make a handmade bike the same way 100 times and have each part fit another bike, does that make sense? That's the trick. That's the hard bit.
Yeah.
So I've been doing this sort of stuff and working with CAD and working with engineers and understanding manufacturing processes behind things. So somebody wants a bracket, I'll sit down at my computer and say, look, this is how you use CAD. And within 2 or 3 hours, they're still shit, but they understand it, and they can stand on their own 2 feet and start to kind of get it of themselves, and it kind of breaks the mystery around a lot of it. A lot of these bike builders that you see on Instagram and stuff, they kind of almost lord themselves up a bit and take like fancy pictures and stuff, and everybody goes, "Oh, they're amazing!" And I'm like, what they do is just, you can do it too. They didn't come out of the womb being able to do that. They learned it, and you can learn it as well. Yeah. And that's what I like teaching here. That's probably the most rewarding thing. The biggest challenge was probably starting up the place. Insurance and health and safety. If this was easy, everybody'd be doing it. It's the first one in the world that I know of, because again, we're not a rent-a-ramp for bikes. We're not a rent-a-ramp for cars. We're not like a wood workshop. It's literally an engineering workshop. We've got mills and lathes and pillar drills, tire machines, and all sorts of dangerous shit here. And that was probably the biggest hurdle I had to jump.
Have you had any nightmares yet? I suppose have you had a chance to be like fully operational yet, or was COVID just you have? Right.
Yeah. So the first month, and then after the first lockdown, we took all reasonable precautions, face masks and sanitizing and stuff. And we run this place just like a gym. So like a gym has a gym membership type thing. So we were running on the same rules as a gym. So I'm not sure if you went to gym during after the first lockdown. You had to stay in your
Jim. Nice. He's a nice bloke. Bless you, Bob. Bless you, but no, I'm not been to a gym.
I didn't look you in the eye while I was saying that. Well, yeah, we just followed what the gyms were doing, and I thought that was the most responsible way of doing it. But yeah, that was a big challenge.
Yeah, like it did make me smile when you were saying about custom building, hand building the bikes, because I follow Stu and stuff, Motorcycled, and I mean he's literally teaching himself as he goes, and he's doing the
I love that.
Watch YouTube to see how you do this bit, and okay, right, well then we'll go and try this, and it's just all trial and error, and it makes really good viewing, because he's making the mistakes that everyone's going to make, and unless you have the actual working knowledge, So yeah. You probably end up knocking on your door one day going,
absolutely,
can you fix this? How do I do this? Who else we got? Chrissy from Chasing the Racing. He just said he's looking forward to listening. I listened to you on Chasing the Racing, actually. I think I'd listened to that, and then you got in touch the first time, or it might have been just after we spoke. I remember you came on.
First time I spoke to you, I emailed you because I was looking to get to, I'm not sure if you remember this, I was looking to get 2 bikes to Iceland, and I needed some transport. Yeah. Yes, that was years ago. Years ago. That was. Yeah.
Did you go? Did you get it done?
No. No. Machine shop got in the way instead. I spent my money on that instead. I will. Yeah. Got there. No, Chrissy came down with Dom, and I'm fine chatting away to people. fine chatting away. Put a camera in front of me. I'm like, hello. A little bit wooden, but I'm getting over that. The more I do the YouTube side of things, I'm getting over it. But it's just I'm not used to it. I'm not used to social media stuff. But I remember Dom shouting at me, "Come on, liven up a bit." And but I'll get there.
Dom is a character, isn't he? The bloke is just
he's a legend. Absolute legend.
Awesome. Yeah. Nice lads, those two. Nice. Their podcast is flying. It's doing really well.
I know. Brilliant. But it's really good podcast, and just proves that people are interested in racing.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think because they're boots on the ground racers, obviously they're both excelling in their relevant fields, short circuit and road racing, but their access to other household recognisable names and names of people within the racing circuit as well is brilliant, isn't it? So their guests are amazing, really, really decent. Okay, next one. Motor MA77. Better later than never. What's been your biggest challenge to date, and how did you overcome them?
Again, my insurance. How did I overcome them? So I've had some very good friends help me out. Very, very good friends help me out. My insurance backer is a good friend of mine. So he's got loads of money, and he pretty much owns the entire company. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without him. That's why it's not been done before. I just happen to know the right people. But yeah, we write all the procedure manuals and standard operating procedures and everything, how to use all the machinery correctly in the right way and have the right safety fucking bullshit in place. And back to the pointy side up in the dishwasher kind of thing. I'm very much you have to respect these machines. If you don't see the danger in these machines, you shouldn't be near them. And I used to get that a lot with the apprentices that I was training up. They're brought up in households where they might be a little bit mollycoddled or kept away from dangerous roads and never really given an opportunity to fall out of a tree or graze their knee and that sort of stuff. And that's kind of a challenge for me, where young people coming in not really being risk aware of things, and kind of being a little bit complacent around these machines. So I always spend a good amount of time with the person when they're using the machine first and just kind of assess them. If I think they're concerning, I will not let them use that machine unless I'm there watching them all the time. And I'll just say to them, look, if you're going to use this machine, just give me a shout. I'm literally 20 feet away. Give me a shout. So they give me a shout, I'll come up and I'll just look at what they're doing first. And I think you should stand this way and do that. And, talk to them about what could happen.
Yeah.
Like there's a bandsaw there behind me.
Yeah.
The first bandsaw was designed to cut meat for a butcher.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. And that's it. That's where bandsaws come from. Jeez. And that kind of makes people kind of go, oh, yeah.
It's designed to do that. Okay.
It's designed to cut meat, not metal. Yeah. We use them to cut metal, but they're designed to cut meat. So you have to be really aware of what these machines do. Like this one here behind me will turn your arm into red mist if you get caught in there. So obviously my
This is horrific, but have you seen that CCTV footage of there's a worker who falls into, I don't know if it's
he's got a blue coat
lathe.
On. Big lathe. I've seen that, yeah.
Oh my God, it's horrendous, isn't it? Oh, jeez. Oh, anyway, sorry to bring that up.
But the thing is, like, somebody came here and like, oh, lathes are dangerous, and they showed me that video. And I know they're dangerous. That's why we've got it. Like, I'm not sure if you can see it. There's guards up over them. They won't run unless the guards are down. That guy put his hand under it, and reached around. And I wouldn't. My biggest problem was him. He was the issue. Mm-hmm. The lathe isn't the issue. The lathe is a big spinning dangerous thing. And would you walk in front of a truck or a car? Yeah, exactly. He put his hand there, and he's an old boy as well. He should know better.
Mm-hmm. It's like. Again, it's people going about guns. Guns kill people. Guns don't kill people. It's the people that either don't know what they're doing or do know what they're doing and want to kill people that kill people with a gun. It's a tool, isn't it? At the end of the day,
it's a tool. Yeah.
Right. Next question, Paul Acan. What is the one rule in your shop that cost you the most to figure out, emotional or financial? Oh, that's a good question.
One rule. To be honest, I'd say I've been very lucky. I've not had any issues. I've not had any people hurt themselves in a bandsaw. I've not had anybody like trip or fall over or anything. I've not had anybody electrocute themselves or do any of the stuff that's possible in this place. I've not had any of that. I've not had any hard lessons to learn. I've not been. I think so. Before I opened the machine shop, I was managing the manufacturing facility at Norton, and I had 22 lads working for me. And I think that anything that could have gone wrong went wrong there, and I implemented all my experience and knowledge and put it in here instead, and almost insulated people from doing anything stupid. Yeah. So luckily enough, I've not really had any big lessons to learn so far. And when something is going to come, I'm always waiting for it. And when it does come, I'll learn from it and make sure it never happens again. So, yeah.
Do you think? I mean, we're not. I'm not fishing to go into the ins and outs with Norton, but being there in that place when all that went on, business-wise, do you think that's maybe has that helped you to have seen what's going on there and to go, right, that is not happening here, or I'm not going to go down this route, that route, whatever. Yeah,
massively. I started at Norton as like a base welder, like the crappiest welder in there. Not the crappiest welder in there, but like I'm not sure if you're familiar with the dummy racers, the ones with the aluminium tanks.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my job, making the aluminium tanks. When I got there, I was kind of like a trainee aluminium welder. And then I was just so into it. Like I done 4 hours overtime for free on my first day. I got there. I rode from Ireland for my interview. I rode from Ireland 612 miles from Kerry on my Triumph Sprint. And I had my toolbox in the back of it. And I walked in the door and I was like, "Hi, I'm here for the job." And the receptionist said, "Oh, you're here for the interview?" I was like, "No, I've quit my job. I left my girlfriend and moved the country. I'm here." Yeah. And then I went in for the interview, and the receptionist told Stuart Garner, and Stuart Garner was like, "Hire him. Just hire him. He's obviously passionate. Hire him." And so I didn't know at the time. It was 2 years before I found out that he had said that. But I went down. I'd done an okay welding lesson. And I got hired anyway, and I started. They're like, "When do you want to start?" I was like, "Well, I'm here now. I'll start now." So I started then. I done 4 hours overtime on that day, and then I was
the same day of the interview.
Yeah, and 4 hours overtime. Yeah, and then I'd worked for it was about 3 months, and I worked every night and every Saturday and Sunday, just getting up to the standard. There was this other guy I worked with called Steve, and he was ex-Bondon engineering, and he's like the most incredible fabricator and welder you've ever met in your life. His work's just artwork, and I was always chasing him, and he was always like humbling me all the time, because I was like, "Oh, Steve, look, this is a really good weld." He's like, wouldn't even look at the weld. He's like, "No, it will never be good enough. Always find somewhere to improve." And that's something that's kind of always stuck with me. He's absolutely brilliant teacher, and so I was like 3-4 months just doing overtime all the time, just getting paid a basic wage, and I just wanted it. And then I was able to make the tanks, and I was like doing loads of tanks. I was a little bit slow compared to the other boys. I just wanted it more and more and more. And then they put a manager in charge, and he was a bit of a bully, and I didn't like how he was treating the other people. And I ended up sacking my own manager and taking his job. Yeah.
How does that work?
There's a lot more to it. But the only place that could ever happen was in Norton. It was like the Wild West. It was fucking dog eat dog there. It was insane. I loved it. It was brilliant. And I didn't know anything about the upper level management stuff that was going on. And to be honest, I wouldn't like to comment on it. It's bygones be bygones. But
no worries.
But my own time there was tough. It was really, really tough. And I was only like late 20s there, and I just wanted it so much. I ended up kind of progressing until I was managing 22 lads there. I was head of manufacturing for Norton Motorcycles at like 28. Jeez, I know, man. Yeah. And I'm not saying that I deserved it. It was just I fought for it. I absolutely fought for it. And I probably wasn't the guy for the job. Because there's a lot of other people there that had, huge amount of experience in manufacturing and other companies that could have been brought in. But I was always there, and I was kind of dependable almost, and I was learning on the job. And it was, I wouldn't say I was the man for the job by any means. And there's a lot of things I'd do differently, and a lot of things I'd like to know before I'd done that job again. But it was a huge amount of experience for me, and ultimately led me here. So, but I'll take an anthem of I'm stupid more than ballsy, but yeah.
Fortune, that all these old sayings. There's a reason. There's a reason these sayings last, isn't there? Like fortune favours the brave. Well, it does. You've got to be in it to win it, haven't you? And you've got to take risks in life for sure. Absolutely. And I'm a firm believer. That's what's meant for you. It won't go by you. Life will have a habit of throwing opportunities at you, and it's just a matter of taking them and working at it and grafting, and something will happen. Yeah,
what they say is luck is a mixture between preparation and opportunity. Absolutely. And if you're not prepared, you can't take an opportunity.
Yeah, 100%. Nice. I like that. I'd never heard that. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, next one. Mark Neal 883. Are these the guys based near Hinckley? Yes, that's them.
Can confirm.
What have we got here? Oh, sorry, I'm just checking through. There's a lot of people just saying, they're looking forward to it, so it's not actually a question.
That's fine.
Right, Amy Cosford. How long until your freshly painted SV650 ends up in the gravel trap? I take it Amy knows you then.
Amy is a very good friend of mine. Very, very good friend of mine. Amy came to us about a year ago, I'd say. A bit more than a year ago. Amy's super... I was going to say some really nice things about Amy, but that's not the kind of relationship we have. We just take the piss out of each other. Amy's a very good friend of mine, and she's building a VF4 400 here.
Right.
And she works very, very hard in Triumph. She's I don't know what the fuck she does in Triumph, but I have no idea what she does in Triumph. But yeah, clever girl, really, really funny, really, really funny, and like she's got banter for days. Like she's absolutely savage, right? Way more savage than any of the guys, and it doesn't matter what you say to her, she's like snaps back straight away. She's brilliant. Nice. But yeah, she's building a VF4 400 here, an NC24, really nice bike. She's taking her fucking time with it. But yeah, I've been building a mini twin race bike, so an SV650, and I'm doing it in machine shop colors, so like the black, white, and yellow. Uh-huh. And I nicknamed it Redgate because it's the first corner in Donington. And so if I can get through the first corner in Donington, I'm happy. That's all I want to do. But there's a gravel trap. It's one of the biggest gravel traps in the UK. Yeah.
Are you racing or just like track days? Are you actually proper racing?
Will be this year. So when I moved over, I'd never raced on or been on track before. So I started doing track stuff. When I got over here, because in Ireland we don't have any tracks, we just go road racing. Just use roads, and so went out and done a few track days on this shitter of a SV650 I bought off Facebook Marketplace for near no money, and just something to do during the lockdowns, and I'm putting in some respectable lap times, so might as well just go racing, see what that's about. The next adventure, isn't it?
So what series are you racing in? No Limits? Or
I will be No Limits probably next year, but this year I'm right beside Mallory, so I'll just do, I'll do the 6 rounds of Emra hopefully this year, right, in the mini twins racing.
Nice.
And if I can come second last, I'll be more than happy. Yeah.
Just beat someone. That's it. Good.
Beat somebody. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. I think this is another one that knows you. I am Mr. Partridge. Why does he love Harley Davidsons and Indians and generally big heavy cruisers so much?
Okay. I knew somebody would bring that up. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I mean, like, if that's your thing, that's your thing. But I don't. I'm a very progressive person. I like new things. And I like new sports bikes, next technology, and I'm like, what's the next thing? Mm-hmm. And I'm not into retros. I don't like retros, and there's nothing wrong with them. They're just not for me. And I think that Harley Davidson had a winning combination, 80 years ago, and they're kind of like, right, it's great, let's produce this forever, and it just kind of got more outdated all the time, and then they just got left behind. And now people that buy Harley Davidsons are just kind of, they want the image, they want the hard man look, and I think that those people just buy motorbikes because of what others think about motorbikes instead of buying a bike they like. Does that make sense?
No, I understand. Yeah, no, I do get it. I used to think exactly the same. It just was not for me, and then I rode one, and it was, I don't know. I mean, I still wouldn't buy one. I wouldn't buy one at the moment anyway. But I get it. I understand why, because it is, as you said, it's that whole community thing, which is massively strong in the Harley world. It's a proper.
Yeah, huge.
You invest into a lifestyle when you do that. The chaps and the whiskey and the meats and all that.
All that shit, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. It's not for me, but I get it. Yeah.
I get it, and I'm glad it's there, because anything that promotes motorcycling or biking, fucking yeah, absolutely.
Here's one for you, Bob. Electric bikes.
Love them.
Yeah?
Love them. Oh, I think they're oh yeah, absolutely.
People think I'm mad. I think Harley's future lies in electric.
Yeah.
Genuinely do. I genuinely do.
I had so much more respect for Harley when they brought out that live wire thing. I'm like, fucking thank you, brilliant.
It's a great bike,
last time somebody had a good idea in Harley, his name was Eric Buell, and he's like, all right, let's go race an AMA, which is the BSB for America, and they're like, no, come on, let's do it. So he took an engine and he made a frame around it, and it was like super short. It turned really well. It was amazing. And then they just crushed him. They spent. Can you hear that? My dog's making noise.
Is that your dog?
Hello, Roo.
What sort of dog's he?
German Shepherd. Where is she?
Oh, nice.
I'm not sure if you can see her.
Roo.
Hello.
Hello, Roo.
Roo. She's giddy because I've not been playing with her.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Yeah. The Buells were absolutely amazing pieces of kit, and then Harley Davidson just set about killing them, just closing them down and destroying it. But Harley Davidson should have been developing bikes all the time. They could be Ducati now. They could be the premium motorcycle manufacturer. Imagine what Harley could do with like a 1 liter V4 making loads of power. Like they've got the brand there. They've got everything there. They just keep making all the fucking tractors and things, and They are great bikes, but it's kind of like the GS thing again. It's not so much the Harley Davidson, it's the people that buy them, and they just keep limiting themselves to like a dying age group.
I think that is the problem now, and it seems to be a significant issue now. Is that their marketplace has sort of I don't want to use it aged. Yeah, I was going to say died off. That's the wrong word to use.
Old cunts.
Well, it's got smaller and smaller and smaller to the extent where it significantly affects sales, I assume now. And that's where I think, like you said, that live wire, I've had the pleasure, and I've been lucky that I've been able to ride a few different types of electric bikes now, the Energicas and the Zeros, the different models. And the Harley, the live wire, it's just got a different feel about it. It feels unique. And to me, it was like, this is where Harley could really regenerate themselves and sort of come forward.
They have an opportunity now to ditch the fucking tractor Massey Ferguson bullshit, and they could run two different product lines and say, look, we make cruisers and we make these. We're leading the way in electric bikes and stuff, because they can do that now. They've got the brand power there to do that and bring all any old customers that are willing to do it, bring them with them. But I really hope they can pull it off, because they bought out Alta. Remember Alta?
Alta.
Lyndon Posket had two of them nicked off him.
Yes. Yeah,
those things. Those were insane. They were a brilliant motorbike, absolutely brilliant bike. And then they bought them out and closed them down, same as they done with Buell. They're just an evil company. Instead of, they took all their technology and put it into, so I've been told, put it into Livewire. But they've really got something there that they could do amazing things with, and I hope they do, because we are going electric, and electric is better. We're just not used to it.
It's going to happen. There's no getting away from it. It's going to happen. Absolutely. Someone was I was on this podcast yesterday, and someone was saying that they're now trialing the interchangeable batteries for cars.
Yes, that's the future. Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, that is 100% the future. If they can standardize the if they can standardize the batteries across all the different manufacturers, that's the way to go.
Sorry, I think my dog wants
to.
Could you let the dog out?
No worries.
Yeah, Ed, go. Good girl, go. Yeah, I think standardizing batteries, that makes sense, because years ago you had like diesel, TVO, leaded, unleaded. You had like 5 or 6 different types of fuel at every petrol station. So if they standardize batteries, you don't need to charge cars anymore. So if you pull up to a petrol station, there's a big bank of batteries there, and you just pull out this like battery that's about that size and that round, and you've got 10 of them in your car. Just do that at every petrol station. That just removes any issues we've got with range, and they could fit in a moped or a motorbike or whatever you want. Yeah,
definitely. Hopefully, I mean, it's going to happen, and I think that's got to be the way they. That's got to be the way they go. People talk about hydrogen and all that sort of stuff, and I'm way too thick to understand it all. But apparently, it's just not economic enough. Hydrogen, you don't get enough output for the input or something out of hydrogen. So pass.
We have a member that works on hydrogen fuel cells, and he knows a lot of stuff that he shouldn't have told me. That I'm definitely not going to mention. But there is up and coming uses for hydrogen. So for long distance stuff like drones, it's really useful for drones. It's really useful for propeller aircraft, that sort of stuff. Anything with a predictable route, say like a bus or a truck or a milk float or a plane that's going back and forth to the same place every time. Really useful for that, but we're just not there yet. But I was on the Isle of Man a few years ago, and there was some old fucking miserable cunt, and he was saying, I don't like these electric bikes. We should go back to 2-strokes. I'm like, nah, fuck 2-strokes. We should go back to steam engines. I'm like, it's you have to move with the times. You have to pretty soon we'll be racing electric stuff with 600s. And it's all about, you okay? It's all about just getting the battery technology up there, because the electric bikes are like 240 kilos at the moment. They're racing against bikes that are 180, 190 kilos.
Yeah.
So you've got a huge weight difference there. But as soon as we bring the weight down, we'll get the power up a bit. Well, the power's already there. It's just the batteries. But yeah, it's super exciting. Really exciting for me.
So are you going to move? Like, are you going to facilitate people working on electrics in the machine shop? Do you envisage, like, into the future? Is that something that you're gonna have? You'd incorporate?
Absolutely.
It's a great idea, isn't it? Because I was thinking, especially with the Harley, it's like you might custom built electric motorcycles. What a way to go! Such a new technology, and then already have the customization side of it.
What I would love to see is, remember you might not know it. Is the Aprilia SXV 450. It was like a super motard type thing, proper hooligan bike. It was like a 450 V-twin mad bike. It was a motocross bike, and you could take the wheels out and put race wheels in.
Right.
Yeah. So it slicks in, or you could change the suspension, and you could put the track suspension in. So you could it was like a little sports bike then. The RRV 450, I think it was. RRV. I might be getting that wrong, but it was pretty much a modular bike. You buy one bike and then a few different kits with it. Yeah, you could buy this stuff, and then like, oh, I want to go do a track day now. I'll put the track day suspension in. Yeah. I want to go do supermoto wheelies with my mates. I'll put the supermoto wheels in. Or I want to go do motocross today. I'll put the motocross wheels in. Right. Imagine that on an Alta.
Yeah.
And you could just change the suspension. You've got an electric track day bike, and the Alta had exchangeable batteries on it.
Did it?
Yeah, so you could do a 20-minute session in Donington and come back, and your battery's charging already. Swap it out. Go again.
You're not telling me that Harley haven't looked at that technology and are developing. They must be developing stuff like that. It wouldn't
surprise me if they didn't.
Because they need something, don't they? They need something to sort of. They need a big bang, so to speak, because the current thing that can't go on. Surely that market, that sector, that style, it's finite, isn't it? And I think even if you brought that style of bike but made it electric, even that's a step. It's a step change, isn't it? And I just sort of think electric's what they need. Never mind. We'll end up getting weighed down with electric here. So let's move on. Martin Riley, what's the furthest anyone has travelled to use your shop, and what was the driving force behind you starting up? Well, we kind of covered the startup, but what about who travels the furthest to come to the machine shop?
Western Supermare, I think. Now, I don't know the distances, but Western Supermare is pretty fucking far. Do you know Jodie Fieldhouse?
Yeah, the racer.
Yeah. She's a good customer of mine.
Oh, shit. I don't know her personally. I know the name. That's how I've seen her on Instagram and stuff. Yeah.
Lovely girl. Yeah. She comes up when there's no lockdowns on, and Mick Shanley from Stockton-on-Tees in Newcastle. When he's passing, because he travels up and down the country so he has to go from like Newcastle down south to get a flight to wherever in the world he's going to so he's a crew chief for WSB. He was on 10K team for a while, and he calls in from time to time to do a bit of welding with me, and awesome. He's a fantastic welder. He's a really, really good welder, and but every so often, say if I'm struggling with something and I'm like, I want to improve my technique and I'm not really sure what I need to do, I can't just ask any old sod to have a look and see what they think. You need to find a welder that's kind of on your level as well. So he kind of comes in and he'll do a bit and I'll do a bit, and we'll kind of help each other go up to the next level, because I might recognize something he's doing, he might recognize something I'm doing. So that's good. But he's from Stockton-on-Tees, and so we got people from all over.
That welding is a proper art, and by that I mean not only it's an art form to do, but the end product of it, when you look at it, some of the welds, when you see them, they're just like, that's gorgeous. That's beautiful. Yeah. You'd have it up on the wall, a picture of it. Gorgeous, some of them.
Piece of piss. It is a piece of piss.
Says the man that's been doing it for how many years?
I did it a while, but the thing is, I've boiled it down to that guy that I mentioned earlier, Steve. I was watching him for years and years and years and years, and when you're welding, you kind of get into this rhythm. As you're welding, and like melt, dab, and rhythm is bad, really, really bad, and you kind of have to wait for certain telltale signs, and depending where you are on the piece of metal, it could be thicker, thinner. Those telltale signs will appear at different times, and you have to watch out for that. And as soon as I kind of realized that, I was like, oh, okay, right, I got it. And then I moved up grade almost, and I was like, right, I got the next thing, and you just, I see you later, buddy, bye. You just collect all these little bits of information, and just like you do when you're riding a bike, you learn about counter steering, or you learn about when to use your front or rear brake, or that sort of stuff. It's all just collecting information. As I said earlier, I didn't come out of the womb being able to do what I can do. I learned every bit of it. And anybody else can as well. Like, when you come down, give me 4 hours and you'll be able to weld to a very good standard.
You may have bitten off a bit more than you can chew there, but okay.
No, I've not failed yet. I've not had one person. Sorry, I'll rephrase that. I had one person fail at it because he was 3 hours into a 4-hour welding lesson. He turned to me and goes, "Do you think I should have brought my glasses?"
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm like, seriously. I was like, "You fuck off home, get your fucking glasses and come back tomorrow." So we started again, and I've not had one person fail, so I made him go home, and we done another 4 hours on top of that again. I've done it, free of charge, just to get him up to that level. And when I say I've got a 4-hour lesson, if you don't get to where I want you to be within those 4 hours, you have to stay on longer.
I better bring a sleeping bag.
Yeah. It's like a welding boot camp.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is it you're saying about like rhythm is bad? Why is that then? Is it because the metal gets too hot, or what is it?
Yeah.
Is that exactly what it is?
So
I'm a natural, Bob. I'm just a natural.
No, that's fine. Right. So if you're welding, say aluminium, it takes 660 degrees to melt that aluminium. Yeah, as you're welding, you'll have the torch here, and you'll have your filler wire in this hand, and when you make what we call the weld pool, the melted piece of aluminium, it's only about 10 mil wide. You'll put the wire into the weld pool, and then you'll move on a bit, make a new little pool, put the wire in, move on a bit, make a new little pool, put the wire in, move on. And you just repeat that over and over again. You're pumping heat into that all the time. So down the road, that's getting preheated. So that piece could melt up, or could heat up to about 200 degrees. So you're coming along chasing it with your 600 degrees. Yeah. So you're using a certain amount of power to melt that. I'm confusing myself now. You're using a certain amount of power to melt that aluminium to get it to 660 degrees, to bring it up 660 degrees. Now you're on a piece that's already at 200 degrees, so you only need 400 degrees.
Yeah, you've preheated it.
Does that make sense?
Almost,
you've preheated it, yeah. So now you need to move almost twice as fast.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so you're not putting the heat in the same area all the time. So it's kind of like a sewing machine. You kind of go like that, move on, like that, move on, like that, move on. But you're putting your foot down on the sewing machine, you have to kind of get faster, get faster, get faster. So if you're stuck in a rhythm, you'll overheat and you'll burn through.
Gotcha.
That make sense?
Yeah. Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. It's easy then, isn't it? It's easy, Bob. It's easy. No worries.
Peace,
when do I start? I'm there.
You have to come up soon.
I'll be up for it. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely up for it.
Yeah.
We'll do a little vid up there or something.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, we'll do something like that. What have we got here? I want to Dan with somebody. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
100 duck-sized horses. I don't see why that's a question. Yeah. And now, years ago, when I first heard that question, Dan, I was kind of like, who would think of something that random? I'm like, it doesn't matter, because it's a shit question. One horse-sized duck is fucking terrifying. One duck-sized duck is terrifying. Have you ever tried to fight a duck?
No, can't say I have.
Neither have I. If a duck gets pissed off at you, you fuck off. Yeah, you're like, well, right, fuck it. Yeah, I'm not dealing with a duck. Yeah. So you're not gonna fuck with a horse-sized duck. Yeah, but if you have 100 duck-sized horses, horses aren't dangerous when they're normal horse-sized.
They are if you run you over.
Yeah, but like usually you just go up and like give them a rub and a sugar cube.
Give them a lump of sugar. Yeah. But there's 100 of them. Do you know what I mean? Like there's 100 of them. Surely it's easier to
kick the fuck out of them. You're just fucking running around. It's like fucking kicking fucking horses and shit. It's fucking easy. It's a shit question.
See, I'd have just gone down. I'd rather fight the one. I'd rather go for the one horse-sized duck. It's a fair fight then.
Fucking bigger balls than I do. Yeah. That's a big bastard duck. What
That
kind
is
of
a
duck
big
is it?
duck.
Is it a mallard or is it a swan? Because fuck swans.
Swan's not a duck, though, is it? Swan's not a duck.
If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
I love that saying. Brilliant. Well, it's Stuart Cavers, somebody here, he says, I wish this was in Edinburgh. There you go. You've got another vote for Edinburgh. The Lilwell? Thellywell? Who's the most famous person that's made a part in your workshop?
Well, we had Henry Cole in.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, lovely fella. And I'm going to expose him now.
Go on.
He was actually a competent welder, but he went
Oh,
when he was being no, he's not competent. But I sat down with him and we done the typical welding class thing, and I can teach anybody to weld. Doesn't matter who you are, I can teach you to weld. And he sat down and I was like, and went through all the steps and the motions, and he got a nice little bead going. Yeah, he's like, oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah, and then they start recording him, and he just like fumbled and fucked around and just like made a bit of a comic relief out of it on the TV show. And then now people ring me, oh, I seen you on Henry Cole the bike shed. He's a shit welder, isn't he? I was like, yeah. Yeah, but no, he's a great guy. Yeah,
I was trying to get him on here. Well, he was all lined up to come on here, and then I think he overran on his filming 3 or 4 times, and then his agent was like, "Oh, I can give you half an hour. You can have half an hour with him." And I was like, they're generally at least an hour to 3 hours long, these, and they were like, "Oh, well, he hasn't really got that time." So I was like, don't bother then. Sorry. It's a shame, because he would be a really interesting guy to chat to, I think.
He is. I like him. He's a good character.
I read his book. I bought his when he was coming on. I went and bought his book, The Meaning of Sheds, I think it was called. And I thought it was going to be some profound book about, deep things about life and what he's learned in life and stuff. Because he's had a hell of a life, hasn't he? And it wasn't. It was about building sheds, like how to build the perfect, literally where to place it, what whether to use wood or concrete, and I was just like, this book actually is about building a shed, right? Okay.
When they say never judge a book by its cover,
I know that one.
You could have done it then.
100%.
Yeah, the one time. Yeah.
Right. Are you okay for time? We're nearly. God, that's over
I'm
2
fine.
hours now. We've been chatting. Right. I've only got a couple more questions here. Stuart Cavers, what welding equipment would you suggest for a complete beginner? And what do you think of multi-process welding machine for a beginner?
Broad question. Okay, so a question I get asked a lot is what do I need? Do I need a MIG or do I need a TIG? They're 2 different machines for 2 different reasons. They're not really comparable. They are both joined metal. Excuse me. So a MIG welder, you pull the trigger, the wire comes out of it, and it sprays onto the metal and melts the 2 pieces of parent material together, and then creates a big weld. That's usually for structural stuff that is on thicker material. So say if you wanted to make some RSJs for a big factory unit or something, some like structural beams, they're really good for that because they weld a lot really, really fast. If you want to do something nice and neat, like an exhaust, like those nice Acro exhausts with the pretty welds around them, that sort of stuff. I do a lot of that on my Instagram. We'd use a TIG welder. So a TIG welder is pretty much just like a blowtorch for ease of explanation, and then you manually add the wire in. So it depends what you're doing. If you're doing modifications to a motorbike, I'd probably recommend a TIG welder, an AC/DC TIG welder, which will weld aluminium as well. Usually base price is around £1,000 for them.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, that's base price. They go up to 15, 20 grand if you want them. Yeah, I mean, like, if you want to spend money, there's some company out there to take it from you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I don't see the benefit in them. A lot of people gloat about how good their machine is, and if you need a good machine to weld nicely, then it's all the machine, not you. It depends on what he wants to do. If he wants, just direct message me, and we'll see what he's planned to weld, and then I can make a recommendation on that. I've teamed up with a British company called Ortec, the letter Or, or as English people say, Tech, and they make really, really good welders, and they come in at a really, really affordable price as well. I use them for everything at the moment. It's a really, really good machine. They last long, and they're simple to use. That's the most important thing. So yeah, just get him to give me a message, and we'll have a look at what he's doing, and I'll make a recommendation based on that. If he's anywhere local, just tell him to come in, or he can come in and have a look and use our machines. So the whole idea of this is that he doesn't have to go out and spend £1,000 on a machine.
Gotcha.
He can come here and get a membership, and then he'll get nearly a year and a half's membership and use all the equipment here for the price of that machine.
Wow. So what's the best way for Stuart to contact you? Through Instagram or through the website, or either or?
Either way. My phone number's on the Instagram. My phone number's on the website. The Instagram is the_machine_
Gotcha.
shop _.
I'll put all the links down below, folks. So
Yeah,
again, just check out the description, and the links and all that will be there for sure. Okay, cool. Nice one. Well, we've got one more question on Instagram. That's Craig Horton. This looks quite a long question. Hi, Bob. I know you've touched base on memberships before, so apologies if this has already been covered. If someone's bought a 1 month's pass as a beginner to start with, but they feel they're confident in using advanced tools, for example, the inters, is the membership flexible so you can pay the difference and upgrade at any time?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Nice.
No, you can't give me your money. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Yeah. We're dead relaxed about all that sort of stuff. Again, it's a new company. I'm still kind of finding my feet with it, and the company's still trying to find its way with things as well. So we will bend around to anybody and see whatever kind of suits people. The way the membership is structured at the moment is we've got basic and we've got intermediate and advanced. The basic is for people that say want to maintain the bike. They can come in, they can tighten the chain, they can grease up the chain, they can use the paddock stands, they can use the bike lifts, lift it up, clean it, do whatever you like here. That's all like hand tools is all covered in that. Then the intermediates is stuff like the MIG welder, the bandsaw, the other stuff that's not really going to kill you. And then the advanced level stuff is the stuff that'll kill you. Yeah.
That's all the fun
so
stuff. So
like the lathe in the mill, that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Jeez.
If he comes in, he's just tinkering on his bike, and then he wants to make a bracket or modify a subframe or build something for his bike. I'll go in, I'll give him a safety talk around how to use the MIG welder, this, that. And if he wants to progress, he can do a lesson with me and we'll bump up to the next step. And what I'll do is I'll ask him what he wants to do, what he wants to achieve. Do you want to do flat plate? Do you want to do tube? Do you want to build a subframe? Do you want to build a pannier rack? Do you want to build, what do you want to do? And he'll tell me what he wants to do. And then I'll structure the class around that. Gotcha. So he gets the best from it.
Cool. So it sounds like the best thing is communications. Contact you, and you can guide them as to what's going to be the best thing for them specifically. Nice one. Right. So that's all the Instagram questions. We've got one over on Facebook. Again, I think this might be someone you know. I don't know. Paul Wilkinson. Does Bob know John Wells? I heard that the legend goes to the machine shop to hang out. Bob is just disappearing off camera for a second. Let's see. What have we got here?
I do know John Wells.
I know John. For anyone listening, he's got a T-shirt that says "I know John Wells." Come on, what's the story?
Yeah, I know. It's quite of an underwhelming story, to be honest. It's kind of snowballing at the moment. It's only about a week old. So we primarily cater for racers around the area. So anybody that ditches their bike in a gravel trap and they need to repair it immediately for the next race, they can come to the machine shop, put the bike back together. So we've got a lot of racers that are coming in and out all the time. And everybody seems to know John Wells. and John Wells is this really, really helpful guy who won, he's won everything on his mini twin, SV650. And he's kind of a legend around the place. But for about 3 or 4 weeks solid, everybody was coming in and just happened to mention John Wells. They're like, oh yeah, well, I'm mates with John Wells, or I know John Wells, or this, that. And I just thought it was becoming funny. And I explained it to a young lad called Jude that works here or comes here a lot. And I was like, everybody keeps coming in saying, I know John Wells. And this other guy called Paul Wilkinson that made the comment.
Yeah.
He came in directly after that. And the first thing he said to me, I can't remember what the sentence was, but it was something about how John Wells had helped him do something. And Jude started laughing. I started laughing. And Paul was like, what the fuck is going on? And I was like, do you know John Wells? Yeah. And that's pretty much it. And it's just kind of spiraled from there, and it's gone through all the local group chats and stuff. And John Wells has become a bit of a legend out of it. It's pretty funny. He's a really great guy. Yeah.
Oh, does he come into the shop as well now? Does he?
He does. Yeah. He's actually only ever been once for somebody who's so infamous around the place. Yeah.
Nice one. That's a good question. Cheers for that, Paul.
Yeah.
Mate, that's us. We've gone through all the questions. I think, we've smashed them. Yeah, nice one. Yeah. Nice one. Good effort. Cool. So, what is the date then for All Systems Go? I don't even, do you know, I've not been watching the news. I've tried not to watch any of the news. I know it's June. Is it June? Is June when we're allowed to do everything, or is it sooner than that?
I don't know. I've organised a bike night for way sooner than June. I know it's staged, but I think June's maybe everything is lifted, and it's all systems. Because I know that
go.
When the latest rules came out, I did sit down with my calendar and I was like, right, what's the earliest we can do a bike night? Because after the first lockdown, we had a bike night just outside the machine shop, and we got a cease and desist from the council.
Did you?
Yeah, it was nothing to do with lockdown. It was because wheelies, burnouts. We had the loudest bike competition because we've got
that'll do.
Yeah, we're in an industrial estate, like way away from everybody, and but I think it was a neighbour moaned. Yeah. I went to the neighbour. I was like, "We're going to have a bike night. Would you mind?" He's like, "No, of course. I'm never here on a Thursday night anyway." Of course, he came along on the Thursday night and told the council. Yeah, and we got a cease and desist. We weren't able to do it anymore. But we had a slow bike race, and we had. You ever see a slow bike race?
They do them at the Overland event and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have a spoony bottle competition for the afters as well. It's like Irish cricket. Right. It's a drinking game, and we have some wild times here. It's good. It's good fun now.
Sounds like a wild west.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to bring back. We're trying to bring a bit of fun back to it, because at the moment, I feel like biking is all about I've got a better bike than you, and I've got this and I've got that. And I don't really care about who's got a better bike. Do you enjoy it? Do you like it? And do you spend more time out of the saddle than in the saddle? Yeah,
it's got a bit sterile, hasn't it? Biking. You're exactly right. It's more about what bike you've, like, what brand, how much is it, what are all the toys that it's got. It's not about. It is for a lot of people. It still is for a lot of people about the vibe of biking, the community that's around. That's the bit I like. It's just, I don't care what people ride. It's just, biking's about meeting people and just enjoying what a bike brings you.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's what I love about bikes.
Yeah. What I love about bikes is it's the most pure form of engineering, or like transport. Like, you don't have any extras on there. With wheels, you've got two extra. With cars, you got two extra wheels. That's how I see it. With bikes, it's just an engine and some wheels and fucking go. And I love it. I love knowing how it ticks, and I love being able to take it apart and put it back together again. And the more engineering and the further it goes, the better. People say that bikes are getting too complicated with the computers and all the rest of the stuff. I'm like, it's just more stuff to learn. Yeah. And I love that. I absolutely love that. And I like to go out. I like going to bike meets, more so just to see the bikes and see, who's bought the latest whatever and what gadgets that has on it. I try and avoid talking to anybody.
Is that in case you call him a cunt?
No, I'm pretty good at calling people cunts, like, because I do a smile on my face. And they just kind of laugh at me and kind of get a little bit confused. I'm like,
you've got the accent to get away with it, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're all right.
Yeah, and I heard a good expression. Love bikes, hate bikers. No, I do love it, and what I do, like you said, I do find it becoming a little bit sterile. I think it's more about an accessory. A lot of the Instagram at the moment is more yeah. Yep. I love Instagram, and I don't want to say anything bad about any of it because I'm happy it's there. I'm happy it's there, and I'm happy people are out buying motorbikes, and I'm happy they're keeping it alive. But there's one or two. There's a certain cafe in London I won't mention that I've heard that people get all of the bike together, bike gear, their helmet, and their head and helmet and their belt staff jacket, and then get a taxi to that cafe or a restaurant, and then talk about bikes. I'm like, you're not really interested in the bike. You're interested in a Goldie watch on your wrist, and saying, "Hey, look at my Rolex." Yeah. And it's an image thing, and hopefully it kind of goes away. But I
think you'll always get that. You know, that's just part. It's human nature, isn't it? It's not my cup of tea at all, but it's part and parcel of just having people together in it. And
absolutely,
everyone gets their shits and giggles some way.
Absolutely, yeah. As long
as you're not hurting people and slagging people, well, not slagging, but you know what I mean. As long as you're not harming people, do whatever tickles your nuts. Whatever. Yeah,
no. As I said, I'm happy it's there. I'm really happy it's there, and keeping it alive. And my dream is to kind of bring it back to. Like a lot of people have a lot of respect for the Ace Cafe and the cafe racers and that sort of stuff back in the day, because they were the mad bastards back in the day. They kept it alive and they pushed it forward, and they created cafe racers because they get down there a little bit faster, and that's what we should be doing today. I like those. Have you come across Who's Dat HW05 or WH05 DAT? It's like a number plate. You might have come across it on Instagram. Basically, it's just a group of.
Yeah, I might have actually. Yeah.
They're kind of. I don't even know what you'd call them. It's a fella. He's got a t-shirt brand, but he's all about the bikes, and it's just interest in bikes and the culture and everything around it. And I really love what he's doing. Now, a lot of people think he's a hooligan, and the people that they hang around with a hooligan because they're all into their supermotors and their Groms and they're doing wheelies on back streets and stuff. But they go away into industrial estates and then they just fuck around and have fun. Yeah, I'm like, that's it. Yeah, they're not going somewhere where they can be seen with their the latest gear on. They're all wearing tracksuits and shit gear that people used to wear in around the Ace Cafe years ago. And they just enjoy the motorbikes, and they fall off and have a laugh and graze their elbows and stuff and get back on and do it again. And they love it. They absolutely love it. And I love seeing that. I think that's really, really good. And I think it's really good for the industry and motorbiking.
It needs something, doesn't it? Because it is, we need to attract a younger market and like the next generation of the bikers, because it's almost like Harley. The whole biking industry in the UK just seems to be getting, I would say it's come down a generation or two from what it was. Yeah. It's got a little bit younger. Absolutely. But it's certainly not, you're not having teenagers and early teens that are getting into it the way they were in like the 90s.
The licensing is a huge issue. Getting your license.
And insurance.
The CBT bullshit.
Yeah.
It's fucking bullshit. And a lot of people say, oh no, they need to be safe in the roads. Yes, they need to be safe in the roads. So train them on the road instead of getting to drive around cones in the car park.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It doesn't do anything for anybody.
Yeah. I mean, Dom Herbertson actually... Because I said that to Dom, I was like, yeah, but think of that age, are you responsible enough to take possession of a big motorbike? And Dom was like, bollocks. At 17 years of age, you can go out and pass your test, and if you've got the money, you could go and buy a Ferrari or an Aston Martin DB9 if you wanted. As long as you can pay for the insurance and you can pay for the car, you can get whatever you like. And I was like, you've got a valid point, actually. You've got a fucking valid point. So what's the difference between that and a motorbike? You could quite easily wrap a car around a lamppost than you could a bike. There's no difference, is there? I think the whole problem is that there's nobody really in power in the government who's pro-bike.
Yeah,
it's a very anti-bike establishment, and
it's just a health and safety thing again. Like most of the health and safety legislation that I have to stick to was clearly written by somebody who's never been in a workshop before. They're saying that you have to use safety gloves on rotary machinery, like an angle grinder. You have to wear safety gloves on a bandsaw. So if I slip in the bandsaw, I cut my finger. If I've got a glove on, it grabs the glove and it pulls my hand in.
Pulls you in,
Yeah. So, but it says in government legislation that I need to wear gloves using that machine, and I've banned that from here. I'm not sure how that's going to go for me, because I've seen this shit happen. I've seen a fella's hand got wrapped up in a drill because he's wearing gloves on a drill, on a pillar drill, and it's the same thing with the CBT. It's fellas sat behind desks with a suit and tie. I've never been on a motorbike before, and they say, "Oh well, we need to make sure this 17-year-old can handle his scooter, so we're going to get him driving around some cones." And I'm like, well. Why are we putting young people on 125s? If you put me on a 125, I'd get killed off it because I'd be at a roundabout or a junction and I'm like, I think I can get out in front of that car.
You haven't got the power to get out, have you?
You haven't got the power, my old driving instructor used to call it get out of trouble power. And when you need that, you pull out in front of into a roundabout and you stall your bike or something. Yeah, you start it back up again. You're really slowly. You need a bit of go there, and it all needs to be thought about properly, like restructured and
it does, sense. And it needs an educated discussion around it, not a what's the word I'm looking for? It's got to be based on fact and logic and not on feelings. And unfortunately, it's based around people's feelings, isn't it? Really, bikes. Yeah. Those people that make the decisions. Yeah. But anyway, that's a discussion for another time. We'll have that over a beer one day, and I'm sure we'll get a lot further into it. Dude, awesome. Thank you very much for joining me for the podcast, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. Yeah, really enjoyed it. And I hope things literally go through the roof for you as soon as freedom returns and we start seeing these machine shops opening up. I'll keep my eye out in South London for you, definitely. Yeah,
that's the goal. Hopefully we can do that.
I'm sure you will. So if anyone out there that wants to get involved with this, if anyone wants to pop along to the machine shop or make some inquiries, as I said before, all the links will be down either in the podcast description or if you're watching a video, check out the description down below and there'll be the links all there. Drop Bob a line and I'm sure you will help out however you can.
Yeah, of course I will. That's what I do.
Dude, is there anything, any shout-outs you want to give, any plugs you want to give before we call it quits?
I know John Wells.
Nicely done.
That's about it, mate. Yeah, nicely done. Yeah, not really. I'm just kind of happy to be here and just come along and see what the place is about. Anybody's listening, don't be afraid to travel up and kettle's always on. There's always beer in the fridge. And come along, enjoy the place.
Beautiful. Sounds like the place to be. Never mind the bike shed. Let's get up to the machine shop. Dude, I'll come up and see you next time I'm heading up yonder. I'll give you a shout beforehand, and even if I just stop in to say hello and bring you some proper biscuits, I'll do that.
You're not too far away. Whereabouts are you?
I'm down in Kent, near Maidstone, down in Kent.
Oh, okay. My uncle lives down there.
I think a couple of hours away from you. I've been up to Triumph a few times and stuff. So yeah, about that. Yeah. Cool. Oh, dude, thank you very much for coming on. Been an absolute pleasure to chat with you.
Yeah, no problem at all. I really enjoyed it. And thank you, everybody, for all your very funny questions.
Nice one. All right, folks, that'll do us for this week. Hope you've enjoyed it. We're nearly there, I think. We're nearly there. Freedom is on the horizon, so look after yourselves, get on out there, look after those that you love, keep on doing your thing, but most importantly, live your life. Woo-ha! Nice one, bud. Nice one.